Okay, welcome on into the 10-Pin Alley pregame show, part of the A1 Furniture and Mattress Bowl series. Tonight, it's the Madison Bowl, as Madison East is hosting Madison Memorial. Along with Eric Rogers, I am Rich Reynolds, and we are glad to have you along for what is week one of our broadcast schedule. We're going to bring you also a couple of playoff games as well. Yeah, nice to see you. I know, right? It's week three, though, in the WIAA schedule. That means these guys already got a couple of games under their belt, and so far so good for brand new coach Michael Harris and the Madison Memorial Spartans. They are 2-0 to start the season, including a big win over Sun Prairie.
Yeah, what a way to go. I mean, you beat Sun Prairie week one. You go against crosstown rival La Follette. You end up being number 10 now in the coaches poll on WIS Sports. So, I mean, yeah, everything looks like it's rolling for a coach who's, as you said, year one, and you got an opponent who hasn't won a game yet this season. But obviously, you don't look past an opponent, but man, what a good opportunity to start out 3-0 in the conference and separate yourself a little bit further.
Absolutely. When last we saw Madison Memorial last year and we did a couple of games of theirs, it wasn't looking very good. So this is a real quick turnaround, for the Spartans to be doing this.
Absolutely. I mean, they got a couple key players. I mean, Cade Ellingson, the receiver, is going to be a big guy to watch out for. Sinetti, the quarterback, is going to obviously be a key, and I'll give you some pointers of what I see on film, later in the broadcast. But man, this is it's a talented offense for sure. Madison East hasn't been able to score as many points, so we'll see if they're able to get things clicking. And you're going to see a lot of different players from Madison East where they're kind of trying to figure out who those guys are going to be. But Coach Thornton, he does believe in some of these guys. They definitely have the talent to beat this Memorial.
Absolutely. Coach Thornton has a lot of positivity in what is going through a process for the Madison East Pergolders. We'll see how they stack up tonight against the Madison Memorial Spartans. Hey, stick around. We're going to talk to both of the coaches, plus a lot more here on the 10-Pin Alley pregame show, all part of the A1 Furniture and Mattress Bowl series right here on 57 Sports. And we're back on the 10-Pin Alley pregame show as we get set for the Madison Bowl between the Pergolders and the Spartans. We bring in the head coach of the Memorial Spartans right now, and that is Michael Harrison. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. First year at the helm, 2-0 start. Can't do much better than that, huh?
We're trying to take everything one game at a time, looking at what we can control, one step at a time, one play at a time. So, thank you.
I was looking at some of the film from Jason Sinetti, your quarterback. He's been, he's junior now, and things are really clicking for him, it seems. And I saw some things on film against Sun Prairie that caused you to win the game, and just being able to his eyes drawing out the outside linebacker. So what have you seen from him that's really allowed him to have some success?
Well, first of all, Jason's an outstanding leader, and so the leadership is actually developing a lot of rapport with his receivers. The teammates trust him; they believe in him. We've worked very hard with our offensive line. I think that's an area where we have a lot of young guys in the roles there. So we've been trying our best to give him some time and protection so he can actually make those reads.
The offense always gets a lot of questions and a lot of airtime. How about that defense of yours? They're playing pretty well right now too, aren't they?
Absolutely. We were shocked, actually. I was concerned that our defensive line was very young. If you look at the roster, it's filled with a lot of sophomores and juniors, and they have really stepped up to the plate. We've asked them to fill some big shoes and do some great roles for us, and they're doing the job.
Obviously, we've talked about some of the weather issues that have plagued the the west side, especially, and obviously you're shortened practices and stuff like that. So how have you been able to overcome stuff like that to keep to the game plan and have that turn out to be W's?
Doing our best to stay as consistent as possible with our meetings, following the same pregame rituals that we have, following the same practice rituals that we have, making sure that everyone understands the tempo and the pacing that we have.
Looks like we got a break in the weather today. Should be a good night for football. Coach, good luck to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, nice to meet you. So, Coach Harris right there. We'll be back with Coach Thornton right after this on 57 Sports. And welcome back to the 10-Pin Alley pregame show as we are joined right now by the head coach of the Madison East Pergolders, Jeremy Thornton. And, Coach, when we talked to you last year, it was year one of this rebuilding thing that you're going through, and you were talking about building the culture and doing it the right way. How's it coming along now here in year number two?
It's going very well. Again, we always see evidence of it. It might not be in the win column, but we're working towards that, and we're seeing progress. We just have to clean up a lot of little things, and it's definitely going to add up to big things, which equal wins.
Well, we can look at some of the smaller things that we've seen as far as weather affecting games and being played on Saturday, being played at different venues, and so what is that kind of? Is it kind of feel nice to have some sort of different things happening and maybe a little bit of adversity out of your control to get that out of the way?
I mean, just playing football, you have to be flexible. And as a coaching staff, we prepare for that. I played here when I was in high school, so it's nothing new, and kids are very familiar with La Follette. So it's no different than any other Friday night.
Absolutely. It's going to be under the lights and going at it with a team from the other side of town. So whenever you play someone in the city itself, so you're going up against West or La Follette or Memorial, does that add special meaning to the game?
Most definitely. We all are aware of our Pop Warner programs within the city, and the kids are growing up playing against each other, so it's just another opportunity to show you what you got just under the lights on Friday night.
We'll get things going. We got a lot of trivia questions, so I'm going to give those folks who are going to tune in for the entire broadcast a little hint here. Now, you alluded to that. You had played here. Talk about your playing days and what that means to be the coach of this team.
Again, it was a very purposeful move for me personally. I was at West High School, and my alma mater is East High School, and I just jumped at the opportunity to come back and coach kids from my local community and kids on the east side.
Excellent stuff. Coach, good luck tonight. We thank you for joining us, spending some time with us on the 10-Pin Alley pregame show. Stick around. Justin's going to be back. It is the Starry and Bank Community Leader Award. That's coming up next right here on 57 Sports. Clear? Yep.
Welcome back. We are here on the field getting ready for the A1 Furniture Madison Bowl, a beautiful night, and it's time to give out some well-deserved awards. It's time for our Student Community Leader Award. I've got Carson Tomini joining us. Thanks so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Boy, you have been chosen for this award because you have been incredibly involved in your school, both in athletics and also in academics. But I want to share with our viewers, since we're here on the football field, a little bit about what you've done as an athlete. Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm a captain of the boys volleyball team and baseball team. And outside of sports, I love to just be around East High School, and I'm very involved. I'm in a student athlete group advisory, so just trying to get the best out of students at East High School. So the more I can be around East, the happier I am.
I think that's excellent. So not only participating in your own sports, but really here supporting your schoolmates. And tonight you're out here supporting. A great night for that, don't you think?
Absolutely.
So I want to present you with this award on behalf of Dental Health Associates. This is the Community Student Leader Award, and well-deserved. Thanks so much for all you do.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me.
Glad to have you, Carson. Glad for you guys to be watching. We've got a whole lot more here on the sidelines at the A1 Furniture Madison Bowl. Stick around for more. We're here with more awards at the A1 Furniture Madison Bowl. Lots of great games ahead of us. Right now we're going to give away the Community Leader Award, and a well-deserving member of our community receiving it tonight, a member of the Booster Club, the co-chair, in fact, for Madison East. This is Mark Geislinger. Thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Jessa. Glad to be here.
Tell us a little bit about all you do with the Booster Club.
Well, I'm our co-chair. So I'm the guy with the clipboard who's trying to wrangle people to do things, get involved. The whole idea is that if everybody does a little bit, we can do a lot more to East together, and we can meet other parents and support our great staff, our coaches, and support our student athletes together.
One of the things we discussed on break was it's not just about athletics, and that's one thing that is traditionally pretty popular with booster clubs is you're really there to support the athletic team, but this is also about the community. Share that with us.
Yeah, thanks. So absolutely our primary mission is to raise a whole bunch of cash and buy stuff for our teams because they have lots of needs for uniforms and equipment and safety gear, etc. But we're expanding our mission to do more things for East in general. And that way we get our parents involved, we get our athletes involved, we all roll up our sleeves together for things like our campus cleanup days. Last year, Coach Jeremy had his football team there, and they all brought over the trash cans, the metal rusty trash cans. We primed them, sanded them, primed them, painted them purple and gold. We've planted purple and gold flowers around campus. We've taken care of a lot of the weeds and wood chip our islands and things like that to help out our custodial crew. It's a way to show our teachers that we care about them. They come to school, they see some new purple and gold flowers. It's a way to support these staff who are working so hard for our kids.
Wow, and you're working hard as well. What a great way to support the school, prettying up the place. Yep. We want to present this award, and this award is made possible by Starry and Bank. I've got Brian Fisher here, and Brian, I'll let you do the honors.
Thank you, Jessa. Mark, on behalf of Starry and Bank, I'd like to present you with this Community Leader Award. Thank you for your dedication to the community, and congratulations.
Wow, thanks so much. Thanks to Starion Bank. Boy, I've only been doing this a year and a half, and it's just an honor to be given this award by the people that I'm trying to do stuff for, because they're working so hard for my kids' school. So it's just an honor to accept this, and obviously there's a lot of people who are involved that are getting things done around here, and so on behalf of them, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Well, shout out to those folks. Thanks so much to Mark, and thanks to Brian and Starion Bank for presenting the Community Leader Award. We'll be right back with more here on the Sidelines.
Getting ready for kickoff here on a beautiful evening, a late summer evening in South Central Wisconsin. Along with Eric Rogers, I am Rich Reynolds. Happy that you joined us tonight. Madison East hosting Madison Memorial. We thought we were going to be at Bree Stevens Field. Mother Nature said no way.
Hey, you got to make adjustments just like the players, and that's why all the fans and our broadcast crew were here tonight and bringing you the action from Lucer Stadium, and haven't been here for a while, so it was overdue for me. So
yeah,
happy to
absolutely. Gorgeous setting for a football game, a great night, and we got kind of a reprieve from the weather. It looks like we might get wet at the very maybe tail end of this game, or as we're pulling out of the parking lot. Hopefully it'll hold off for a while, because it looks like we got a lot more rain coming our way.
More rain, just add a little more note of interesting things to happen in the weather for this area, and for sure. But you got to play ball, and we'll obviously not be affected, you would think, until the very end of this. And as the teams get ready to take the field, I mean, week 3 action, and we've talked with the coaches and hear what they have to say about what they expect out of this game. And man, you look at just the roster sizes. Madison East is a little bit undermanned on that side of things, and obviously with an 0-2 record right now, but. You play every week, Rich.
Tale of two teams right now, both of them in the midst of a rebuild. Madison East off to an 0-2 start. They have been outscored by 69 points to start the season so far this year. For Madison Memorial, completely different story. They are 2-0, including a big Week 1 victory over Sun Prairie. That took a lot of people by surprise.
It did, absolutely, and you see in that game, I mean, it starts the ball getting rolling, so to speak, and you start 2-0 on this season, and you look at it and say, man, did we really go 2-0 to start the season against 2 really tough opponents? That, not to say that you didn't think you could win, but that always looked like a tough schedule to start.
Absolutely. So they're getting ready for the national anthem here at Lucer Stadium. It is presented on Channel 57 by 1901 Heating and Plumbing, world-class HVAC plumbing and mechanical contractor serving customers all across Wisconsin and the Midwest. Now, your national anthem. Fast approaching kickoff, week 3 of the season. It is the Madison Bowl. It is coming up next on the A1 Furniture and Mattress Bowl Series right here on 57 Sports. Just about time for kickoff here in the Madison Bowl. Madison Memorial and Madison East here from Lucer Stadium on the campus of Madison La Follette over on the east side. Along with Eric Rogers, I'm Rich Reynolds. Madison Memorial will get the ball first, looking to go to 3-0 here in the early part of the season, and this has been a part of the game in the first 2 weeks that they've excelled at special teams, especially kickoff returns.
Yeah, we talked about Cade Ellingson and his 93-yard touchdown return on a kickoff against Sun Prairie, and obviously leading to a win in that one. They followed that up, as we've talked about before, against La Follette. Ended up getting on WisSports.net their team of the week across all the state of Wisconsin was Madison Memorial for beating La Follette. So definitely a team who's rising in the ranks to number 10 right now in Division I, and here trying to prove and get 3-0 not only on the season, but for Coach Mike Harris, his overall coaching record here.
It is Cade Ellingson and also Trayvon Harper who are back deep for the Spartans. They're setting up shot at about the 15-yard line. Fans starting to get into it here. The Purgolders looking for win number 1 here on the 2018 campaign, and the Madison Bowl is underway as we are live now. Trayvon Harper with the ball, and he's got a hole, and we talked about kickoff returns, and a good one here for the Spartans as they will set up shop at the 45-yard line. Again, good blocking, springs Harper for a good return.
Yeah, and right on cue, Rich, as we're talking about the effects of special teams and the return game. And one thing we've seen in the NFL, Rich, and obviously a big topic, has been moving where the ball is on kickoffs. The only 1-yard run-up, we're still seeing at the high school level a 5-yard running start, which you would think should eliminate some of the, or keep the running ability back, but still, you talk about less dangerous, but high school level, they still stick true to it.
They do indeed, as Jason Sinetti, the junior, lines up behind center, the starting quarterback for the Spartans, as he has gotten off to a pretty up and down start, if you will. He goes play action, play number 1, wide open down the field, has a man at the 31-yard line as the pass is complete on the play to Michael Cerniglia. Cerniglia, you see the tight end trailing across and comes up big for a big gainer there, a pickup of 24 yards.
Cerniglia, one of the top receivers on this team, 4 receptions, 57 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the season. And to see why in a play like that, go into the middle of the field and on the rollout, it's a nice play to start this game off.
24-yard pickup for the Spartans on play number 1. Play action worked on the first play. Let's try it again. Sinetti airs it out into the end zone and a little too tall for his intended receiver on the play. That is Max Hoser, and just overshot his target at the goal line.
Well, I thought you might have even been able to get Keontae Jones, the DB, on that one for a little bit of pass interference, but maybe they let him play it out a little bit here and get the game underway. But man, we were seeing out of that offset I formation, the multiple I for Madison Memorial, you're going to see a lot of good stuff out of that, some different plays. You get some blocking from the fullback, and they make use of that fullback, by the way.
Absolutely, and they got a big one there as Sinetti now is going to work out of shotgun. On 2nd down and 10, Cerniglia goes in motion to the near side. Working against that Purgolder defense, Sinetti will survey once again his 3rd straight pass. He airs it out again, long throw, incomplete, overthrows his intended receiver, Hazer, but there you go. It is going to be that pass interference call that might have happened on the last play. They're not going to let it go 2 plays in a row.
I guess the good news, Rich, is in high school you have the 15-yard penalty on that instead of the spot foul, so it's not going to cost East a ball inside the 5-yard line. So that's the positive news. Negative news is you're starting the penalties early, so it could set a tone here. But Memorial with the momentum right away and not afraid to take it to the air.
It is going to lead to a 1st down, the 2nd of the game for the Spartans. And if you're Madison East, everything's kind of working against you. You're playing against a hot Spartan team. Probably important that they don't have turnovers and penalties, because that's really going to set them back in this game.
I mean, it is. And you talked about, how young this team is and, haven't won a game in a while. So it's maybe some frustration, but trying to learn too.
So a fresh set of downs for Sinetti as the handoff goes straight up the middle and spinning forward on the play. Couldn't get the number there.
Charles Dean
on
the tackle.
That is Charles Dean on the tackle, excuse me. Who ran the ball? All right, there we go. Got him. Number 10, Jack Shafransky. Did I say that right?
I think you
doesn't
got
look
it,
like a
Rich.
Jack
Let's give it to you on
Shafranski,
that
man.
one.
Yeah.
But what I saw that was a nice job on the defense was they shift the defensive line into where the run was going to go, plug up those holes, and stop for minimal yardage.
2nd down and 6 now. Sinetti under center after being on a shotgun 3-step drop. Throws into the end zone. Touchdown on the slant play. A beautiful pitching catch as Cade Ellingson came open, and it's a Geeks Mania Arcade touchdown.
It's tough, man. When you have a slant like that with a big receiver gets the inside track against a single high safety, that safety has to decide if he's going to go to his left and cover Ellingson or to the right. He chose to the right. Ellingson's wide open, so that he delivers a nice strike.
Simple pitch and catch as that's going to go up on the William Thomas Custom Jewelry scoreboard as the extra point is through the uprights, and just like that, we're less than 2 minutes into this game. The Spartans lead it 7-0. You're watching the Madison Bowl here on 57 Sports. Let's take a look at the Bachman Pools, Spas, and Saunas replay of the last touchdown as a beautiful throw by Jason Sinetti. Just a 3-step drop, Ellingson man coverage, and the ball is on point.
What I love about plays like that, Rich, is not only is it just create that instantaneous, all right, the defenders are going to have to make a split decision. They don't have time to really analyze what's happening during the play. You have to make your analysis of that play before it even starts. So a skillful defender will defend that, but there's only so much you can do in that instance.
Yeah, he was out on an island there and got caught. So our thanks to Bachman Pools, Spas, and Saunas for all of our replays tonight. Stay warm and boost your immune system this winter with a Hilo infrared sauna. Go ahead, relax. It's Bachman's. And what do you know, surprise onside as the Spartans look like they might have came away with the football. It looked like it was live, a whistle blew, and it's offside on the Spartans. And I tell you what, that element of surprise is now gone.
Well, absolutely, but I mean, that's Coach Mike Harris. That's Coach Harris saying, look, I'm going to make a stand here and say, I'm going to start this team out, go 3-0. We get the early touchdown. Let's surprise them, put us in that position. And, yeah, I guess you're not going to see that one for a while.
Now, and how important is it, too? You know, we talked about him before the game. You know, when you're playing a team in the city, it takes on special meaning. These matchups, East versus West, and Memorial getting involved, La Follette, all of these really take on added meaning for all of these teams.
Well, and they do, Rich. I mean, as you know, the Big Eight obviously playing conference games all season long until the playoffs. But you have two teams who've not played each other a ton, but over the last 10 years, this series has been dominated by the Spartans. So you know East is hungry to win this game. It's been 8 of the last 10 have been won by the Spartans.
Tyler Owen, Davion Clay are back to receive, and it is Owen who's going to take it at about the 12-yard line. He's got a little bit of a seam and a bit of a burst, and an exciting play for the Pergolders as he takes it up near midfield. So a nice return by Tyler Owen, the junior, on the play, and this time the Pergolders are the ones starting at the 45-yard line.
Well, you know this guy has the burners. He's a receiver. He was an all-conference honorable mention player a year ago, so you get the ball in his hands, you never know what's going to happen, and both these teams have had success returning the ball on kickoff, starting from the 45.
We're taking a look at Ian McCoskey at quarterback. For McCoskey, it is his first start. In fact, for the Pergolders in the first 2 games, no one else has thrown a pass besides Phil Rowe, and he is out for the game tonight. So McCoskey out of shotgun's going to give it straight up the middle to Owen. He had a good run on the return, but not that time as he is met in the hole by Will Sprout on a tackle for loss.
Yeah, no word on exactly what's the story with Phil Rowe, but he was completing 39.6% of his passes, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks this season in the 2 games he's played. So we'll see if the Pergolders missed that on offense or if maybe they found some guy who could fill in for the foreseeable future.
McCoskey's got 2 wide receivers to the right, 8 men in the box for the Spartans. On second down, the give straight ahead to Owen again. Check that. That is actually number 22, C.J. Dean, getting his first carry of the night, and a good little burst there up the middle for Dean on a pickup of 4, brings up 3rd and long.
Well, Rich, we talked about in the pregame, and you asked the question to Coach Harris about defense, and that's the 4-2-5 defense that the Spartans play this year. They have allowed only 39 points in the 2 games so far, with 69 points for. So definitely outscoring on it from a big margin and ranking pretty high there in terms of scoring, second in the Big 8.
And a mistake here by the Pergolders, as it looks like the left guard flinched a little bit on that one, and that is going to cost him 5 yards as Kevin Alvarez, number 76, came up just a little too quick, as that is a Cobus and Buses penalty flag. As Cobus and Buses, we thank them for jumping in this year with us and being a part of our broadcast.
Kevin Alvarez, a senior this year at 6'6", 275, a big man who's going to hold down that offensive line, but every now and then you'll make a mistake, and what's the cliche? If you're talking about offensive linemen, it's usually not a good thing.
Yep. 3rd and 7 now becomes 3rd and 12. 2 wide receivers, McCuskey, play action, the left-hander rolling out, and ill-advised pass there, nearly picked off by a diving Brandon Connors, is going to lead to a 4th down.
Actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was that 6 or 8? Because I think that was Jeremiah Jordan, the DB.
Was it? Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, yeah, I was looking at the wrong
Jeremiah
roster.
Jordan, the Tim Crumry preseason watch list for the top senior defensive lineman. Honorable mention, all-conference last year. So definitely a guy to watch out for, number 6 on defense.
McCoskey misfires on his first pass attempt of the evening. I don't want to say anything that would upset his dad, who is sitting right in front of us here as we are perched up in the press box. This is a timeout on the field, and a good time for us to step away as well. Early going, first quarter, Spartans lead 7-0 in the Madison Bowl on 57 Sports. Big thank you to Mr. Paul Canarella at A1 Furniture for supporting high school athletics again this season. They, as always, are our official Bowl Series sponsor. Not that I'm ever going to take them for granted in all that they do for us. So thank you, A1 Furniture and Mattress. They are your premier mattress and furniture store. Good punt here. Pushes Ellenson way back down to about his 15-yard line, but he's got a head of steam now as he turns it upfield, crosses over to the 32, a punt return of about 17 yards for Cade Ellingson, and Jason Sinetti and company will take over for their second drive of the night.
Yeah, sometimes having a receiver is it's a luxury to be able to have a guy who's dedicated to special teams, kick and punt returns, but when you have a guy like that who's as talented as Ellingson to be able to find some of those holes, even something like that where he's backtracking while he's catching the ball, he's still able to gain positive yardage. It's a good thing for Memorial.
My guess, by the way, is that Cam Marshall is wearing number 10 tonight. I'm going to have to check that out.
We've had some jersey number switches.
Yeah, there have been some tonight as Sinetti rolls, Sinetti fires, and he hits his man.
Is that Max Hoser? Hazer?
Yeah. We're going to go with Hazer on that one. That's what the public address announcer went with there, and it is a pickup of 12 and a first down on the first connection of the night from Sinetti to Hazer, and that is already the 3rd receiver that the junior signal caller is caught up with.
Max Hazer, 2 receptions, 95 yards, good enough for 5th in the conference right now in the conference so far this season with a touchdown. In week 1 against Sun Prairie, had only 1 catch, but it was a 73-yard touchdown.
That's a good one. Yeah, if you're only going to have 1, that's what you want. Boy, Sinetti really airing it out and right through the hands of Hazer. Boy, perfectly thrown strike, too.
Yeah, but also that's our fault as broadcasters. Seems like you talk about a guy, you start highlighting him, and it's just bad juju.
Always. We'll try not to do that too much. By the way,
I will just never say a player's name.
There you go.
Let's do that.
Game Clock is brought to us by William Thomas Custom Jewelry. William Thomas, your inspiration, your custom jeweler. As you see them down in the bottom right corner, that game clock looks great, by the way, as we take a look now at 2nd and 10 for Sinetti. 7 in the box for the Pergolder defense. Blitz coming. Sinetti's going to air it out long once again and overshoots his intended receiver on the play, looking for Cade Ellingson. Boy, tell you what, Coach Harris not being shy with the play calling so far.
Well, absolutely not, but you're seeing a lot of these plays. I'm not sure if it's just Memorial getting quick off the brakes or just they're speedier or in the right place, but they always seem to have a step or at least a place where the ball can be placed where they can catch it. So Sinetti, slightly overthrown, but that's, getting in the right position, and he's going to hit one of those at some point and break this thing open. So you just keep taking those shots.
Brings up 3rd down and 10. It's an obvious passing down, which means maybe we can expect a draw play here. That's the way the season's gotten started for us so far, as Sinetti under center on 3rd and long. Blitz coming once again. Play action, rolling left. Sinetti running out of time. Hits his man in the flats. That's not going to do it. A pickup of 2 on the play as he hit his intended receiver, and that was a person whose number we don't have. Do you have a 47? I don't have a 47.
I do not have a 47 either, Rich.
I love when
so we
that
had
happens.
some live football. What are you going to do?
So no number 47. We're going to give him a completion anyways. Turns out to be a loss of 1, a completion that Sinetti probably doesn't want. Anyways, it is going to bring up a 4th down, and punting it away now are the Spartans. Short punt and good field position once again for the Pergolders. They'll take over at the 30-yard line. All right, we send it down to the sidelines right now as Jessa Jeremiah is standing by with a nice-looking group. Take it away, Jessa.
At 1st and 10 Pergolders on their own 32-yard line.
Thanks for taking a break with us. We are here on the sidelines for a Dale's Heating and Air sideline report. I'm joined now by the Palms. So we've got a great group of ladies who are cheering on Madison East. I've got first-year coach joining us. This is Emily Kinzel. Thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, of course.
So you've got quite the team behind you. Tell us how things are going so far early on in the season.
Things are going amazing. We have a nice group of girls. Everyone's pretty bonded tightly, so that means we'll perform really well. We have high energy, high hopes. It's going to be a great year.
I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about how things are going, because we talked a little bit off the sidelines about how this team is really growing. So not as big of a team in previous years. This year, I'm going to introduce you to our captains, rather. Shay is right here, one of our senior captains, Kelly, and then Gracie, a junior captain. Shay, talk to us a little bit about the growing team and what you expect.
I think that in previous years it's been like 10 or 11 people, but this year the team has really grown. We've grown in hip hop. We've also grown in POM. We just expect great things this year.
And now, in other years, there haven't been competitions. So this has always been a team that has performed during halftime, but we're looking at possibly a competition year. What's that going to look like?
Yeah, it's going to be a great year for competition. We haven't done it in a couple of years, but it's going to look like more vigorous practices, more time put in, more hard work.
And you've got a close-knit team, which we talked about makes a huge difference when you're performing and just knowing what's happening on the field and during competitions. Real quick, because they're performing at halftime, I want to share with you what that's going to be like.
Well, this is going to be a Cardi B routine. It is a POM routine. We've worked on it for a couple of weeks now, and we will also be performing it for the freshmen on Tuesday.
All right, well, Shay and Emily and ladies, thank you so much for all you're doing. We're going to head back to the guys. This has been a Dale's Heating and Air Sideline Report.
And thank you so much, Jessa. Dale's Heating and Air, putting your comfort first. Get your dryer vents cleaned for free at dalesheatingandair.com. All right, 3rd down, and we're going to call it 9, a minimal game by Dakari Clay on the last play on that jet sweep. So puts McCoskey and company in an obvious passing situation. Out of shotgun, the lefty fires, and just off the hands of Brandon Connors. That throw was right at the stick, seemed on the money, but Connors couldn't haul it in.
Well, Bukowski's had sort of an up-and-down series. We saw him roll out to his left, which was great for a lefty quarterback. He underthrew, or there was miscommunication on the route, a receiver. He went with the run-pass option on a different play that went for minimal yardage. And then that one, that was pretty well-placed ball. Is maybe a little bit high, but that's what you're looking for.
So another punt coming up for the Pergolders, as they have yet to get their first down of the game. Pressure on the punter, and I don't know how that wasn't blocked as the punt goes flying out of bounds. We'll see where the refs end up putting the football. It's going to be at about the 38-yard line as the Spartans will come out for their third drive of the night. By the way, in case you missed it, you're going to have to rewind on your DVR and get to that Blow and Smoke Barbecue tailgating show. Blow and Smoke Barbecue in Wanakee, Kansas City Barbecue from Robert Bishop. Yeah, straight from me to you at Blow and Smoke Barbecue.
Richie talked about how that punt was not blocked, but it maybe should have been. Sometimes I think when you get that clear, you're almost like, I don't want to run into the kicker. That's all I'm trying to avoid. And then it ends up going through your hands like that, and you still obviously get a good position here.
Fullback's going to get the carry as diving straight ahead on the play. Let's get that number. You believe it or not, you would think it'd be easy to see the numbers, but it's not. They kind of blend in as we're going along here. You got it? I have a feeling you got that number. Was it 27? Not 27.
We're learning. We'll get it.
Hold on. It's 47. And that's the number that we don't have.
Well, there you go. We have a last name. Solve
Yeah.
that mystery.
You have a last name? Sinetti backs up again, fires first down yardage as he hits Ellenson out across to the 50-yard line, and a pickup of 10 yards on the pitch and catch from Sinetti to Ellingson.
So if I can find Rich, I was just told Schaefer is wearing 47.
Schaefer.
Dryden Schaefer,
Okay.
who is the fullback who was used to wearing 18. So we did have a number change. So
Okay.
there we go.
Got it.
Dryden Schaefer, fullback, defensive end combination.
Yeah, you also had a catch then for -1 yard. So we got that.
He has 5 carries, 12 yards, and a fumble on the season coming into this
Wow,
game.
and talk about Schaefer. He is wide open down the sidelines and a perfectly thrown touchdown pass, 50 yards, Sinetti to Schaefer, and the Spartans are up big early on the bomb.
Well, there we go. We talked about talking about a guy and maybe being, a bad mojo, but there you go. Worked to the opposite for Memorial, and man.
Wow, we take a look at the Geeks Mania arcade touchdown play action. Nobody took Schaefer just streaking down the sidelines all the way to the end zone for the 6, and the Spartans up 13-0 with a chance to put the cherry on top here with the extra point. As the snap is good, placement not so good, as now they got to try and scramble with it. That's not going to work out as Sinetti misses Schaefer. It goes out of bounds, and we're stuck at 13. Well, the Spartans with a big play, up big early as we have 5:40 left in the first quarter. We'll be back at Lusher Stadium as you're watching the Madison Bowl on 57 Sports. Our thanks to 10 Pin Alley for giving us our pregame show. 10 Pin Alley, more than just bowling. 10 Pin Alley in Fitchburg. Let the good times roll. And speaking of rolling, that is the Spartans right now, and it is through the air. Jason Sinetti, 6 for 9, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Wow. Early for that, almost getting speechless, but I'm sure Coach Harris doesn't mean any disrespect by going for 2 there. I think it's one of those, we have an opportunity to grow here, to start 3-0. We're going to try some new things.
Absolutely, as return now coming to the near side, and once again a pretty good return there by Tyler Owen, as he really has provided the only highlights of the night so far for the Pergolders. All right, let's head back down to the sidelines. Jessa Jeremiah once again with another Dales and Heating and Air sideline report.
Taking another break here on the sidelines from Dale's Heating and Air report. I am joined now by Principal Mr. Mike Hernandez. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So a home game for Madison East, but we're not at home tonight. Let's talk a little bit about why.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, with the weather that we've been having, all the flooding that's going down on the isthmus, I mean, the bigger question is we just want to make sure everybody's safe down by the lakes. Thankfully, La Follette High School opened up the doors, and we've been able to play here tonight.
Yeah, what a great community, a community of support of one another, and obviously some tough flooding going on. I do want to talk about the upcoming school year. Now, this is your 4th year as principal for Madison East, 11 years doing this, though, and in previous years you've added a lot of programs. Let's talk about what we're doing this year.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, we're really excited about the start of this year is because we're really not adding anything. We're just going to get deeper and get better at what we're doing when we're doing AVID and our personalized pathways. But also we're doing smaller learning communities in which we're really learning more about students.
Well, I think that's a great way to really, kind of buckle down and expand on the programs that you do have and what's working. Obviously, you guys are doing a great job. I appreciate you taking some time to do an interview with us tonight.
I appreciate you having me.
Thanks to Mr. Mike Hernandez. Thanks so much to Dale's Heating and Air for the Sideline Report. We'll get back to the guys.
Nice job, Jessa, as a couple of penalties now has marched the Pergolders in the wrong direction. 4 penalties already for East for 30 yards, and that is not what you can do when you're facing a team like the Spartans. McCoskey with 5 wide receivers now, 4-man rush, and a little hitch to the outside as the pass is complete on time to C.J. Dean as the fullback out of the backfield is able to get some positive yardage.
Yep, 4 or 5 yards. I mean, it's not going to move the sticks quite yet, but that's what you're looking for. You need some quick hitters, something to get the momentum moving, some positivity, move the ball forward, and, maybe that opens up some bigger things and makes Memorial respect the pass a little bit. Memorial put on 5 DBs
1
on that
for
one.
4 on the night, throwing the football just 5 yards with that completion. But again, empty backfield for the Pergolders. McCoskey's going to air it out down the sidelines and a little too tall as he was looking for his intended receiver who had broken away, as that was Jevin Boynton, and Boynton had a step on his man.
Well, that's what Coach Jeremy Thornton had said before the season started, that Boynton might be a guy to break out, and he almost did on that play, if not for maybe a little bit of handsy there for Trayvon Harper, the DB on that one. He definitely, there was a fan near the broadcast booth that was calling for a flag, and I think there's definitely a case to be made for that.
So 3rd down and forever now for the Pergolders. They go 5 wide once again, still looking for their first down of the game. The Spartans already have scored twice on their first 3 drives. McCoskey into the flats, incomplete. Again, a little tall for his receiver, Brandon Connors. Going to bring up a 4th down, and the Pergolders will punt once again.
Well, Madison East only has 4 first downs on the season, Rich, and that's not going to win you too many games. So it's a tough way to go, and looking for some positive things here. And it's just been a rough go for them. And the last time they won a game was September 16th of 2016 against Madison Memorial. So
wow.
A 7-6 win in that one. So it's been a while since they won a game, but it is a growing process, as we've talked about.
It has been a tough go and a high snap. Now the rush on once again, and it affected the punt on that one as this one gets shanked out of bounds, and the Spartans are going to start in Pergolder territory. By the way, you don't have to leave Madison to experience real Italian food. No. Just go to Nono's Ristorante Italiano over on the west side.
I know you love your cheesy reads, Rich. I'll let you
as
have
long
that
as it's
one,
Parmesan or Asiago.
Hey, I mean, if you've never been there, yeah, do it. I mean, good food for sure over there at Whitney Way. And, man, I'm a little sad to be moving away from the west side.
Right.
I'll have to find another way to go.
Moving to warmer climes as you move down south.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Almost like to another state. 1st and 10, Zanidi drops back once again, 3-step drop, has Ellingson on the slant again. He is going to break away to pay dirt. Touchdown, Spartans, 38 yards, Zanidi to Ellingson, and the Spartans are making it look easy tonight.
Well, a little bit risky on that one because the DB did have an arm in there that could have knocked that ball away, but really testing that young defense right now, and they've got to switch some things up. They've had one safety in there, and when you get one-on-one coverage, you get the other guy going. So really, Sinetti can make his choice. You have one wide receiver on each side of the field, and you got to start getting another DB on there to cover it.
Sinetti on fire, 7 of 10, 149 yards, 3 touchdowns. Oh, by the way, we've played less than 10 minutes in the first quarter. Yeah, 20-0 Spartans. We'll be back with more from Lucier Stadium right here on 57 Sports. Hey, all of our penalty flags brought to us by Cobus Buses. Don't get penalized for passing school buses when the red lights are flashing. There's no passing, says Cobus Buses. Ensuing kickoff after the 38-yard touchdown strike, and Tyler Owen will get it back to about the 30. There he is, wrestled down, thrown down hard. No flag, as sometimes that can draw a penalty flag, but not tonight. The refs let him play.
Yeah, Tyler Owen taking a beating on that return, and not great starting field position again, but this offense has been out there for a long time, and at some point you start thinking, oh, well, what can we try that's going to work? And I don't know at what point you start deciding we go away from the playbook, because I think every game, Rich, every team goes into this thinking, well, I have maybe 20 plays scripted up that I want to run regardless of how things are going. We're at that point where maybe the game plan changes.
Absolutely, as the Pergolders got to get some positive yardage. So far on the night, they have 4 yards rushing, 5 yards passing. That's in 3 series, and no first downs yet, and they are going to burn a timeout. It is their second timeout of the first quarter, as we will take a break as well. We'll be back with more 20-0 Spartans on 57 Sports. All of our touchdowns brought to us by Geeks Mania, an all-day free play unlimited. That's right, no quarters or tokens, just one price, $10 for adults, $5 for kids. Geeks Mania on O'Dana Road.
It's pretty cool. They've got the largest, I'm not sure if it's in the state of Wisconsin or the Midwest, but they have the largest selection of arcades.
The fact that you would say it's pretty cool defines you as a geek.
Hey, well, whatever. I go over there and spend my money, and it's good.
That would be by definition as a negative play to start the 4th drive of the night for the Pergolders. Going to cost them 5 yards, going to bring them up second down. Oh, we'll call it 14. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt as a loss of only 4.
Well, if it means anything to you, Rich, Madison East has not scored yet in the first quarter this season, but the second quarter is where they score the most points of the season.
Well, there you have it. First quarter, a little rough for them. They're trying to get out of it right now as a pitch wide over to Clay, and not much there as the Spartan defense seems to be everywhere so far here tonight.
The Spartan defense has been, on the field for quite a long time, but they seem to be energized. They have a big, deep roster of guys they can rotate in and get some guys in that maybe haven't had some playing time. We might see that later in the game, but guys that are hungry for the ball to make a play. Not that Madison East is necessarily a bad team, but it's you go into this saying, okay, well, we have an opportunity against a team that hasn't won in a while to try some new things, to make some plays, take some risks. Our offense is clicking, so defensively, you're pinning your ears back.
Absolutely, and that's what the Spartans are doing. They've had a lot of success defensively so far this season, and looking to continue that on 3rd down and 16 after the 2-yard loss on the rush by Clay, and whistles and delay of game and another 5 yards marched off against the Pergolders. The only thing they haven't done yet that's worked against them tonight, they haven't turned the ball over yet. Thankfully, that's the only thing they haven't done. Everything else has really worked against Coach Thornton and the Pergolders.
Well, we've seen McCoskey, the quarterback, coming into this one for Rowe, who had been the starter all year, and maybe it was a last-minute thing, or maybe he's unprepared, doesn't have the experience, but it seems like he's just been a little bit lost out there.
And a bad snap, yeah, that's not going to help either, as McCoskey's just going to fall on it, and it's going to bring up 4th down and forever.
I would imagine those white and green jerseys are going to be really going at this one to block the punt. They've had no real reason to think they can't do something offensively. So even if you run into the kicker or something, you're still putting yourself in a position where, hey, let's try some things.
By the way, that might have been a quarterback sack. I'm not sure if it officially is or not. If it was, it would have been brought to us by Auto Color. Unexpected collisions, scratches, dents, and dings. Visit Auto Color. As another bad snap, and there you go. As that's just as bad as a turnover there for the Pergolders. The Spartans will take over inside of the 5-yard line, just mere feet from their 4th touchdown of the game.
I'm trying to get a number on who the center is in that one. It looked like 62 or 72.
And that was Will Sprout, number 65, flashing once again tonight as he has been busy sacking the punter on that one and setting the Spartans up in terrific shape. Sanidi out of the pistol. It is Cam Marshall behind him. 2 wide receivers to the right. Sanidi dropping back. Had a little bit of time, then it breaks down, and the Pergolders are going to get to him. Although Sanidi's able to fight forward. I'm not sure that that's a sack. It looks like he got back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's what we call a covered sack. I mean, you're trying to find your open receiver, and maybe it took a little bit too long of time. But again, we've seen this before, and it's just how football goes. And when the field shrinks like this, you're inside the 5-yard line. It obviously gets harder to pass the ball. So Memorial, what they have been doing is obviously throwing. So seeing if they can get something going, a quick slant, something. But every second is precious here.
Schaefer, the fullback. Marshall, the deep back. The give's going to give to the fullback. Up the middle, Schaefer will bull his way into the end zone for the Geeks Mania touchdown. And the Spartans are just pulling away here in quarter number 1.
Well, that's what you do. And we talked about the running, the passing game, and you instead go with the fullback type, and we talked about that. The Spartans love their fullbacks, whether it's a swing pass, whether it's catching it out of the slot, whether it's a typical run like that. We're seeing a lot of different plays come out of that offset I formation for the Spartans, and once again, it appears they're going to go for 2.
Everything working tonight for the Spartans as they now lead it 26-0 and going for 2 as they would like to make it a nice even 28. Sanidi under center is going to fake to Marshall, rolling right, pressure coming into the end zone. It's good. 2-point conversion. Sanidi got hit on the play, but was still able to find Cerniglia for the 2-point conversion.
Well, big number Thiles Henderson Moss nearly got to him, that defensive end. I was watching some tape on him, and he loves that defensive end position. He's a guy who's always going to be standing up. He doesn't like the down, hand in the dirt kind of stuff. But, man, he puts pressure on the quarterback and nearly made a big play to stop that. Taking
a look on the Bachman's replay there as, again, Sanidi has to pick himself up, but excited that he got that 2-point conversion. 28-0 Memorial. We'll be back with more from Lucier Stadium on 57 Sports. Hey, make sure you check out the Big Ten Football Report presented by Jason's Deli. You can catch it on the Sports News with me and Eric every single week right here on 57 Sports. 28-0 now. Tyler Owen again with a kickoff return, and he squirts free and is able to drive the ball up to about the 39-yard line. And again, he has provided most of the excitement tonight for the Pergolders, down by 4 touchdowns.
Cole Kuhn, the receiver and DB for Memorial, wearing number 20. Just a sophomore, but he gets in on special plays, and you see him as he's dragging down the ball carrier, trying to strip that ball out of there, and that's what they teach you. Either punch it out or rip it out or something, but still able to make the tackle was key.
Hey, remember to watch every game at the Red Zone Madison. Live music, all sports, and the best pub grub in town. The Red Zone over on Regent Street in Madison. 28-0 now.
Pretty good Badger tailgates.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that's a great place. I love going there. McCoskey surveys the defense out of the pistol, and another false start it looked like. No, we'll call it offsides on the Spartans. They actually blow the play dead. And what do you know? Some positive looking yardage for the Pergolders. They'll take it.
There you go.
First penalty of the night against the Spartans, and the first thing that's really gone wrong for them all night long.
Well, Madison Memorial came into this season. They had 11 letter winners from last year come back, but they lost 17 of them. They only returned 4 offensive and 2 defensive starters. So they had a lot of reloading to do, but it hasn't slowed them down, it seems.
It has worked out well for Coach Harris and company as it gives straight up the middle and nothing doing for Devion Clay, and that'll bring up a 2nd down and 5, as really nothing that the Pergolders are doing is actually working for them right now, offensively or defensively.
I think something might have gone wrong on that play, Rich. I don't know if receiver Miles Molitor thought that was supposed to be a passing play or an option to a pass, because he was streaking down the sideline, throwing his arm up like, throw me the ball, or maybe it was some type of diversion, but it didn't appear they were on the same page. But
2nd down, the give's going to be to Clay once again, and again, not much there. Maybe a yard on the carry. That's now 3 carries for -1 yards for Devion Clay, and mercifully, the clock runs out on quarter number 1, as it has been all Spartans here in the Madison Bowl. 28-0. Memorial has the lead, as we'll come back for the 2nd quarter. Actually, before we do that, why don't we send it down to Jessa Jeremiah, as she is standing by with the Dales Heating and Air sideline report. Take it away, Jessa.
All right, we are taking a break here on the sidelines between 1st and 2nd quarter. It is our A1 Furniture Madison Bowl, and we have caught up with a bigwig here for the Big 8. This is the Big 8 Commissioner, Eric Burton. Thanks so much for taking some time with us while you're watching football.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So lots to talk about. Obviously, we got to narrow it down to a couple of things, but I have heard a little bit about the potential realignment for football. Let's discuss what that might mean.
Sure. This summer, the Wisconsin Football Coaches Association has put forward a proposal for 8-team conference realignment for football only, and that's something that would, if passed by the WIA, would take effect in the 2020 season. The Big 8 Conference has 10 teams, so one of the proposals being suggested is that we would lose Janesville Parker and Janesville Craig out of Big 8 Conference football, and that would bring us down to an 8-team conference. So there's going to be a lot of discussions this fall at the area meetings with athletic directors and the WIA, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, a big decision, and that, again, would take effect in 2020, so we've got a little bit of time to report on that in the upcoming seasons as things unfold. Another thing that we discussed before we got to our break here is really the need for officials, and this is something that you are a bit of an expert in. Let's discuss what's kind of happening with the supply and demand of officials here at football.
Sure. Football is a sport that requires quite a few participants on the field. We have 5 officials for varsity contest, and generally they work as a crew. And our population of officials is starting to age up a little bit, and some officials moving into retirement. And we're not necessarily having younger officials come in at the same level as the population ages. So it's a concern around the state with shortages of officials, and it's something that everyone's aware of, and there's a lot of thought on how to increase the population or get younger officials into the game.
If viewers at home are watching and maybe this is a good fit for them, who do you think would make a good official that could come out and be a part of it?
Well, the first choice would be former players. Former players know the game, and that's a tremendous asset to get started in officiating, because they've experienced what it's like to be hit or have a call not go their way, and so that would be the number one group.
So yeah, great opportunity to get involved in the community and just be right there in the game. Thanks so much for taking a little bit of time with us, Eric. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much to Dale's Heating and Air for the sideline report. We'll get back to the game.
And thank you so much, Jessa. As we were away, the Pergolders had a punt again. Spartans with the ball once again, and this time they're taking to the ground as a couple of runs for Cam Marshall. Short yardage on that one's going to bring up third, and we'll call it maybe 5 here after a couple runs for Marshall. Marshall with only 3 carries and 9 yards on the night.
It's something a little bit different we haven't seen from the Spartans so far this game, and that's just straight ahead, run the ball down the middle. Classic, straight ahead football. It's nothing fancy, but you just try something you haven't done so far, and you've obviously been successful with the pass, so you know you can rely on that, go back to it. So, I don't know, do you think on 3rd and 5 they go to the air again?
Probably. I mean, you know what? I like how aggressive that Coach Harris has been, but I like your theory too. Hey, they got to work on all aspects of their game, and they're going to continue here as Marshall gets the ball in space. Good blocking and good power running as well as Marshall pulls his way ahead across midfield to the 46-yard line and a first down on a pickup of 7.
Well, let's not forget, look, number 47, Schaefer, goes and throws a nice block that gets you past the sticks, and that's, again, another one of those. I haven't really ever been a big fullback guy, but when you see plays like that, you go, yeah, they are pretty important.
Absolutely, and it is another Courtesy Ford first down. Your new truck destination at Courtesy Ford, it's courtesy that counts. 1st and 10 and another flag, as we'll see what the call is. This time it's going to go against the Pergolders, offsides on their defense as they call it dead right away. For Madison East now, that is penalty number 6 for 40 yards.
Got a lot of penalties in this game, Rich, and for us it's game number 1 for these officials and these players. It's game number 3, so still trying to work out some of those kinks, and especially when you have some new players coming into the mix, especially when you're talking about what East has gone through, you're going to have some of that.
Cerniglia goes in motion here. 1st and 5 now for the Spartans, and Sanity will hand off to Marshall. Marshall scampers to the right and near first down yardage as he shows some good quickness. I like that choppy step kind of a running back. Those guys are hard to bring down.
Well, it adds a little bit. Sometimes you do that with misdirection right from the line of scrimmage, but you keep those feet moving, and how important footwork is to the game. And obviously with a short, choppy run like that, you never know if they're going to go one way or the other. So especially in a situation like that where you're looking for a few yards, go at it, young man.
Brings up 2nd and short now. Marshall, the deep back. It is Dryden Schaefer up front, and the fullback's going to get the call once again. And yeoman's like work out of Dryden Schaefer tonight as he gains 3 and another first down.
Well, Sinetti really sells that handoff because he gives the handoff to the fullback and still extends that arm out as if he's going to give it to Cam Marshall in the backfield. So it just, anybody who's not paying attention is going to be fooled, and Schaefer could slip right by. So that's a detail that counts.
Schaefer, 2 carries, 6 yards, and a touchdown as he's the lead back once again. 7 yards deep is Marshall on 1st and 10 for the Spartans, driving the football once again. And another pitch to Marshall. They like to get him out into space, and why not? As he makes a couple of guys miss, heads up to the 30-yard line on a gain of 6.
What you're also seeing, Rich, is a lot of nice sealed blocks to the outside from those receivers, because Marshall's able to cut back into the inside. You're going to see it right here, and that's exactly what you're looking for as the running back said, thank you, I will be patient, and you do your job, I'll do mine.
It's been working for the Spartans, who are finally establishing the ground game here in the second half, up big, or in the second quarter, excuse me, 28-0. By the way, halftime fast approaching, as we'll have our halftime show coming up in just a bit.
I would imagine we're going to see a play action at some point.
Oof. Quick drop back, but before that, a whistle and a timeout called by the Spartans before the play even got going. So it's a Bank of Sun Prairie timeout. Let's go ahead and take it with them. 28-0 Spartans on 57 Sports. 8:25 left until halftime, and time for us to maybe do a little trivia here. It's brought to us by League Trivia, team and league-oriented pub trivia Play with yourself or with the team for individual nightly up to $100 and enormous tournament prizes up to 10 grand. That's leaguetrivia.com in Stoughton.
All right, so we're going to give you the answer in a little bit, but the question, Rich, what school did Madison East coach Jeremy Thornton play on when he led them to a Big 8 title in 2003?
Excellent stuff. We'll find out, if you watched as Sanidi falls forward on what looks like maybe a busted play, if you watched the 10-pin alley pregame show.
Which you should have.
Yeah, then you know the answer to that
that's
question.
Why I told you got to pay attention. You never know we're going to drop some tidbits that you're going to need later on.
You got to watch everything. Commercials, all of it. No flipping.
Of course you would never do that.
Who would? 3rd down and 3 for the Spartans at the 29-yard line of Madison East. I formation dropping back Sanidi and had to get rid of it.
Up.
What an athletic play as he finds Ellenson. Ellenson breaks a couple tackles and another one on his way to the end zone. Touchdown. Spartans 29 yards, and it was set up by some amazing athletic work out of Jason Sinetti.
That did not happen. There's no words for that. What do you even say? The guy's slipping and falls down. And then Ellingson does the rest.
Wow. Incredible as Sinetti able to get away from the blitz, dodges 2 guys, gets it out to Ellingson. He dodges 3 more as he waltzes into the end zone and extends the lead for the Spartans. Jason Sinetti, by the way, his last 3 passes have all been touchdown tosses as the extra point is good. 35-0 Memorial. You're watching the Madison Bowl, and you're watching 57 Sports.
East Girls Swim Team takes on Memorial. They're taking on tonight at the East Pool.
Hey, maybe one of the best plays we're going to see all year just happened as Jason Sinetti gets away from the rush, finds Ellingson down the sideline. He breaks a couple of tackles and some ankles on his way to the end zone, and a 29-yard touchdown strike. On his last 3 passes, Ellingson's caught 2 for touchdown, 29 and 38 yards, and also a 49-yard strike to Dryden Schaefer. Everything working out swell right now for the junior Sinetti.
Well, Sinetti, he doesn't even have that many touchdowns on the season. I mean, that's just an impressive performance when you come into a game like that. Sinetti has 3 touchdowns on the season. So, yeah, just equaled that total. So he will be up there in the rankings. And you can imagine when you're looking at performances of the week, you could go to either 2 of those gentlemen.
Yeah, he came into the game tonight with 3 touchdowns and 3 picks. He now has 7 touchdowns and 3 picks on the season on what has been nearly a flawless evening for the Spartan signal caller. That one goes out through the back of the end zone, and the Pergolders now still looking for first down number 1 with 7:34 left until halftime. By the way, we do have an award that we're going to be giving away at the end of the game, and that, of course, is our big trophy. It is presented by A1 Furniture and Mattress, so stick around for the trophy presentation at the end of the game tonight.
Madison East is going to have to dig deep if they want that trophy, but maybe more importantly on their behalf is to win a ball game this season and to get some positivity going, because they have not had much positivity to really talk about so far this year.
Yeah, not much has gone right for the Pergolders as on first down, pass out into the flats falls incomplete, a little bit low as a diving Cade Neubauer could not haul that in. As for McCoskey now, he is 1 for 7 for 5 yards.
Well, let's give some credit for McCoskey. I'm not sure what exactly the situation was that, when was it determined he was going to be the starter tonight, how much practice he got in, how much practice he has just in general, but the guy comes in here and he's doing what he can, and sometimes when you have an open receiver like that, you get a little bit anxious and so, there's my target, and you just sling it, maybe it's a little bit damp, and you just don't quite get a hold of it.
Second down now. McCoskey has time out into the flats, has a receiver, and nearly the first down of the night as the pass was complete to C.J. Dean. Dean, a pickup of 9 yards. He now has 2 catches for 14 yards. It's going to bring up 3rd and short.
Well, Charles Dean, he can get things done. And last week against Madison West, he had 7 carries, 19 yards, 1 reception, 4 yards, and a touchdown. So he's definitely a threat in both aspects of the offensive game. So keep an eye on number 22.
3rd and 1. Let's see what Coach Harris and the Spartan defense is going to dial up here, as it's going to be a handoff straight up the middle.
I don't think
no,
so.
sir, that is not going to get it done, as a flurry of Spartans were there to push the ball carrier back, as C.J. Dean could not even get back to the line of scrimmage.
Geez, Rich, I'm not sure at what point, you draw, maybe you go for a 4th down play. Obviously, you're on your own territory right now, but at some point, you got to try and get some risky offensive plays going. Because
And Coach
just
Thornton,
the law of averages.
Yeah, he's thinking about what you're thinking about, and he wants some more time to think about it. So he burns a timeout. We'll be right back. It's all Spartans here on 57 Sports. Beautiful looking shots in HD tonight. That has really been the star of the game. Great camera work as always, and beautiful replays brought to us by Bachman's Pools, Spas, and Saunas tonight. And it has been, you take a look at the crowd this evening as well. They're decked out, they're having fun despite the score here for the Pergolders. Another bad snap, but it is scooped up. Punt's going to go out of bounds. And once again, the Spartans are going to start in Pergolder territory. Actually, the ref is going to put it right at midfield, trying to be generous to Madison East.
Right. Get another yardage, back onto that one. But look, this game obviously hasn't gone East's way, but defensively, you've got some good players on defense. 4 all-conference honorable mention players from a year ago. So certainly some players on there that can make something happen. So it's just, I guess we'll see how risky they want to be, how aggressive are they going to be. Because at some point, and we've already said, it's you got to start taking risks, because Memorial has had your number the entire game. So if you can get, take a risk, make something positive happen out of it, maybe it turns things around.
Our thanks to Joe Conant over at Conant Automotive in Stoughton, taking care of your family by taking care of your family's car. Conant Automotive in Stoughton. Cam Marshall with a head of steam. He rips off 15 yards and another Spartan first down.
Well, how about Keontae Jones, the receiver? He's at 6'4", 195 pounds. That's a big receiver, but he was also blocking big number 72, Thiles Henderson Moss, the defensive end, and he got nowhere on the backside of that play. Not that it was really affecting where that ball went, but man, it's just great blocking, and the Spartans have really coached up their guys to block well away from the ball as well.
1st and 10 again for the Spartans. They've done that 8 times in this football game. Cam Marshall bounces it outside. Nice stiff arm and good yardage on first down.
So what do you think, Rich? Have we seen 2, maybe 3 running plays go between the tackles so far in this game for the Spartans? It's been a lot of bouncing outside, which I guess if you're a speedy guy, go for it. But Cam Marshall has made a killing going to the outside, the hash marks outside the tackles. But I'm not sure what he plans on doing at the next level, but at some point you're going to have to go inside.
Absolutely. 7 carries, 48 yards tonight for Marshall, nearly 7 yards a pop now as he's finally getting going. Didn't have much going in the first quarter. It's been all second quarter Cam here. And they'll continue to pound the football, and another first down for the Spartans as they've gotten it through the air and they're getting it done on the ground as well with Cam Marshall.
Well, I think what we're seeing from the Spartans is just, let's milk some clock, let's do some running plays, let's set something up, because at some point you're going to go play action, you're going to just go a quick slant unexpectedly, and you're going to catch the Pergolders off, off guard, maybe off center, and they're expecting a run play, and all of a sudden it just comes out of the same formation instead it's a pass play, and that's how you get them. Stack in the box, though.
Burgolder's got 8 in the box, trying to stop the run as Marshall, once again, nothing up the middle, bounces it outside, and is able to pick up maybe 2 yards on the carry.
So I don't want to jinx it, Rich. I think I might have seen a flash of lightning off in the distance, but let's not go that route yet. The officials didn't see it, so it doesn't count. They won't delay the game.
Don't say that. So if we have lightning in the area, the way that it works is they have to delay the game for 30 minutes.
Yep.
So and it's 30 minutes after the last seen lightning strike.
Again, so
yeah, that is not good.
So if they're going to see it, it's.
Boy, oh boy, that'll keep us here for a long time. As the give is up to Marshall. Marshall straight up the middle, and this time he's able to find some yardage in between the tackles, give him a gain of, we'll say, 4, maybe 5 yards. How about 4? And it'll bring up 3rd down and 4 for the Spartans.
Well, they don't mind right now milking this clock as we're down heading towards 4 minutes before halftime, and you're getting your running game going, and it's something that the Spartans haven't really had a lot of practice on this week because you had some 2 tough opponents against Sun Prairie and La Follette.
3rd and 4, keeping it on the ground. The give is up to the fullback, Schaefer, and he just keeps driving his legs forward. Bulls ahead for another courtesy Ford 1st down. Great work by the fullback.
You know, I see another team that usually wears cardinal and white in this state that does a lot of fullback running and maybe not quite as flashy. I love the fake flip out to the running back kind of stuff that Spartans are doing. It's just a flashy offensive style, and right now it's just that fullback dive is so effective.
1st and 10 as it gives to Marshall once again. And Marshall, wow, he can squirt through as he has some quickness, and he has another courtesy Ford 1st down on a pickup of 11.
So down to about the 2.5, 3-yard line, and it'll move the sticks. And once again, just a lot of positivity here in this game for the Spartans. And you know, East, they've been on the field for so long defensively. At some point, it's going to break, and you know, this team's going to come back. They're going to go back to practice again next week. And
straight ahead is Marshall. He dives ahead into the end zone for a Geeks Mania touchdown. And I thought he was going to be stuffed right there at the line, but he was able to find just a little crack. And that's all he needed as Cam Marshall finds pay dirt once again. And it is actually his 1st touchdown of the night. I thought he had another one. I'm trying to keep track here. Schaefer
had one, yeah. Schaefer had a 4-yard touchdown run, a reception, so.
13 carries, 75 yards, and a touchdown for Cam Marshall as the extra point hits the upright, no good. And it is going to stay at a 41-0 Memorial lead. 3:15 until halftime as we go down to a sideline report. Right now, as standing by is Jessa Jeremiah. Here we go. Jessa with another Dale's Heating and Air sideline report.
All right, thanks to Rich and Eric. We're going to take another break here for a Dale's Heating and Air sideline report. I've got a gentleman here from Madison Memorial. This is Principal Matt Hendrickson. Thanks so much for being here tonight.
Jessa, thanks so much for having me.
So not only a Memorial grad, but you have been serving the school for 13 years as assistant principal. So what's changed?
I think once you move into the head position, everything is a little different. You're elevated, and eventually the buck does stop with you.
So yes, an interim position, and I want to talk a little bit more about as you head into the school year. I know you're taking your role very seriously, and you're hoping to do some things to really build community. Let's talk a little bit about that and what that might look like for students and also for staff and parents.
Well, for years now we've really focused on trying to build strong relationships. We believe that strong relationships are key in the education world. And as we go to engage our students, we look at outreach programs, we look at everything that we're doing and trying to see how it fits back into how do we connect it to what we're doing as a building, as a community, and really as a family. You know, when we think about the Spartan family, we really want that to feel real for everyone involved.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time with us. We are going to get back to the game, and I know you want to do the same, but thank you for sharing some of the things that you're doing with us. Again, Matt Hendrickson is the principal over at Memorial. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
That's been a Dale's Heating and Air sideline report. We'll get back to the game. Thank you.
Hey, great job, Jessa. Thank you very much. We have seen A couple of lightning strikes off in the distance now. I'm thinking the refs are choosing to kind of ignore it as we get closer to halftime here in what has been a one-sided game.
Well, it's interesting, too, because we were just told that it is definitely in the WIAA rules that after halftime, if there's a 35-point lead for a team, it'll be a running clock in that second half. I mean, lightning strike, running clock, does it cancel each other out and you just play the game?
Yeah, and the coaches can always agree to just say, hey, that's the final score, as McCoskey completes a pass for negative yardage, unfortunately, as he was able to get it out into the flats, and a loss of maybe 2 or 3 yards on the pass.
Well, everyone's certainly getting their money's worth for this one, or maybe not, because it won't be as long of a game as typically it would be at this point, unless East is able to get something moving. I mean, they have a long way to go here before halftime, and the field in front of them, but they are completing passes. They're doing some different formations. We haven't seen the 3-wide split set before.
McCoskey fakes the pitch, then throws it out into the flats. That is incomplete, as he was looking for Clay. So 3 of 10 on the night for McCoskey, and pinch hit duty here, as he is 3 of 10 for 11 yards, and a 3rd and long coming up once again for the Pergolders. Again, still looking for that all-elusive first down of the game.
I think McCoskey was a little bit unsure or hesitant before he was throwing that ball, because it looked like he almost double clutched it before he threw the ball. So I'm not sure if he meant to throw it or if it was supposed to be a pump fake. Did not go so well.
3rd down and 12, as we'll take a look at a good tight shot there by our cameraman. Look at that. That looks good. As rolling to his right as McCoskey throws it out in the flat. That is picked off on a very ill-advised throw.
Ouch.
And the first turnover of the night is a McCoskey interception, as that was pretty easy and one of the easiest interceptions that the Spartans will get all season.
Now, did I get that number? Was it number 42, Caden Reitz on the interception? It was. And that's a tough way to go. And then Davion Clay laid a hit at the knees, and that looked very painful. But luckily, there was no injury on that play. But yeah, kind of ill-advised, and I'm not sure if it was a frustration throw. You just want to get something going, and you throw the pass, and it turns out like that.
Yeah, Reach just popped up very quickly. I formation once again from the 12-yard line for Sanidi and company. Pitch out to Marshall. He bounces inside, then tries to squirt back outside, gets it to about the 9-yard line on a pickup of 3 for Cam Marshall.
Well, what can you say about that game, Rich? I mean, it's opportunistic defense by the Spartans, and then what they can do on offense. And gosh, this Pergolder defense has got to be tired. I mean, I know a lot of these guys are two-way players as well, so you think about how tired these guys are going to be after this one, but
yeah,
we'll see if this one gets called by weather. I don't know.
You're seeing a lot of guys hands on hips, a little bit winded right now as they're staring down a 2nd and 7 as Sinetti drops the ball. Now a broken play. He's going to take off running himself, and a good job by Sinetti to get some positive yardage as he falls forward for 2, bringing up 3rd and medium here. We'll call 3rd and 5.
Well, Sinetti is able to run that ball. He has 3 rushing touchdowns on the season. Potentially it looks like Memorial will get a win here tonight. They will go to Middleton next week, who is 1-1. Madison East will be at 0-2 Beloit Memorial next week. We, on the broadcast, will be at Madison West, where 2-0 Verona will take on 1-1 Madison West.
Big game next week between Middleton and Memorial for sure, as Marshall fighting for yardage. Not going to get it. Only got a yard on the carry, and it's going to bring up 4th down. And we'll see what Coach Harris decides to do here. He can go for it. He can try to shoot it into the end zone here. We got about 30 seconds left in the first half, so whatever Coach Harris decides to do, it's probably not going to come back to bite him.
Well, it's typically been high-scoring games between these two teams because Memorial has outscored in the last 10 years. They have outscored Madison East 411 to 170.
It's a pitch to Marshall. Marshall is going to be short of a first down. He only got a yard on that one, and that is probably the most positive thing that's happened all evening for the Pergolders and their fans. Let them hear it.
You know, I like how your mindset is there, Rich, because my thought was, well, now the offense has got to get out there, and now they got to try and go down the field. But, 12 seconds left, they're probably just going to kneel this thing and take it in a half. But totally right. You take some positivity into the second half. Maybe you still come out with a loss. We still have to play the game, but gosh, what a tough place to be in, down 41-0 hole. But, yeah, you take that positivity into the halftime and see if you can inspire your guys to play in the second half.
Yeah, getting a stop off a turnover in which the team starts off deep in your own end. That was good for the Pergolders there. 12 seconds left until halftime as McCoskey out of his own end zone with the ball placed on the 3-yard line. He's in the shotgun, going to give it to Davian Clay. Oh. Did he make it out of the end zone? He did, just barely to avoid the safety to end the first half. That is going to do it for a one-sided first half. The Memorial Spartans 41, the East Pergolders nothing, as it is time for the halftime show. Jessa Jeremiah is standing by to take it away. Here you go, Jessa.
All right, well, we have enjoyed ourselves here on the sidelines for the first half of the A1 Furniture Madison Bowl. We have an excellent halftime coming up. Looking forward to our Prairieland Towing halftime show. We have a former athletic director, some students with a lot of spirit. We've got the cheer team, we've got the athletic director, and much, much more. So stick around for the Prairieland Towing halftime show here at the Madison Bowl, brought to you by A1 Furniture. We'll be right back. Welcome back, folks. You're watching the A1 Furniture Madison Bowl, and I've got with us a retired athletic director from Madison Memorial who served many, many years for his school and his community. We won't make you do the math. This is Gary Copine, also lovingly called Cope. Thanks for joining us with me tonight.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad to see you. I want to discuss a little bit about what you've done and served the school in your working years.
Well, I was at Memorial for a long, long time, and I had the privilege to work with a lot of great kids, a lot of great parents, and a wonderful coaching staff, and we're fortunate to have a lot of good things happen. Get to come over here on a beautiful Friday night to the east side of town, a beautiful stadium here at Lucian Field, and watching kids from East Memorial have a little football game together and go out and have some fun and keep working towards a common goal.
Yes, and I want to mention, because you mentioned it to me while we were discussing off camera, 31 years in football, 31 years in swimming, and 26 as an athletic director. That's a really incredible amount of time to serve your community. But specifically in your retirement years, you have spent time just really supporting that same community. What is it that brings you out here to the games night after night?
Well, like we talked about off camera, it's all about the kids. Kids it doesn't matter what school you go to, what side of town you're from, kids are kids, and they have great spirit for their particular school. I mean, there's nothing like Eastside Pride. I know that because I coached against it for many, many years. Memorial's got a great family atmosphere, things that we promote with our kids. I brought a couple of my grandkids over tonight, and a couple of their buddies, and came over It's Friday night, it's football night, it's high school football night, and beautiful evening. The rain's held off. It's going to be great the whole time. The score's a little deceiving right now. The East kids are playing hard. Coach Thornton, I don't know him personally, but I've read about him. I know the kids respect him. I like what he says. I like his philosophy, and he's going to do a good job with these kids over the years. And I had the privilege of coaching our head coach, Mike Harris, and one of his assistants. And I've been around long enough that I've got kids of kids that I coach that are now kids on the team, and it's just fun to be able to watch them and support them.
And in fact, we talked to Matt Hendrickson earlier, who is the acting principal that you coached as well. So we appreciate your time in serving the community, both in the four walls of the school and here as a member of the community. And thanks for taking some time with us tonight.
It's been my pleasure.
Cope says it's the best deal in town. I couldn't agree more.
It is.
Thanks so much. We've got more halftime show coming up after the break, brought to you by Prairieland Towing. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the A1 Furniture Madison Bowl. We are taking a break here. It is the Prairieland Towing halftime show. Joined now by some students from Madison Memorial. I can see there's a theme tonight. What's your theme this evening?
Jersey! Let's go!
All right, so obviously you guys are proud to come out and support your team. What brings you out to the games on these evenings?
Everybody loves coming out, supporting the team. We really feel that Memorial is one big happy family, and everybody roots for the team through thick and thin. Adam's gonna talk a little more on
We're
that.
2-0 this year, about to make it 3-0 with this blowout. They're just tons of fun to watch, and they're super good this year.
So I think I know the answer to this, but who has more school spirit, Memorial or East?
Not only do we have the most spirit in Madison, we have the most spirit in the state. Woo! Go green, go white, that's the colors I like. Go green, go white, that's the colors I like. I said go green.
We'll hear
go
from
white.
East a little bit later, and I'm sure they're going to have some school spirit for us. But these guys definitely got it too. We're going to be back with more Prairieland Towing halftime show coming up after this. Welcome back to the Prairieland Towing halftime show. If you're just tuning in, this is the Madison Bowl. We've got Madison Memorial at Madison East and at a different stadium this evening due to some flooding. But we are talking to Athletic Director TJ Rognes, who is the Athletic Director for East. Thanks for taking a few minutes with us this evening.
Oh, no problem. I'm happy to do it.
So I want to take a little bit of a break from football and just highlight some things that are happening in other sports so far as we kind of kick off the fall season.
Well, I mean, we're up and rolling. All of our fall sports are going. For instance, cross country had their first meet last night. Boys finished 4th, girls finished 8th. Had a great start. Rachel Hughes is a senior runner for us. She took 3rd overall, and it was down in Cambridge. Our girls swim team took on Memorial actually tonight, so they're getting over here a little bit late. I haven't heard the results yet, but we're hoping for the best. Boys volleyball played last night. They finished 3-1 in the city meet. They took 2nd. Very exciting start for them. Our girls volleyball is starting their conference next week, Tuesday. They take on Middleton. That'll be a huge test. So, yeah, we're really going after it.
Yeah, I want to make sure we got everybody. I think you made it through the list. Tennis. Did we talk tennis? We want to talk them.
No, actually, tennis is actually having a bit of a revival for us. They had over 35 girls out this year. That's about 30% more than we're used to. Our second-year coach, her name's Emily Oberwetter, and her assistant, David Crutchen, are just doing an amazing job. Amazing job.
Excellent. A great little highlight reel for us. And, of course, we're going to talk in just a second soccer, so we'll let the guys come on in, but impressive win.
Absolutely. Well, last night they took on Monona Grove. They came away with a 2-1 victory over at Monona Grove, a very talented team. So we're very excited about them. They're 2-0-1 to kick off a very young season, but coming off a conference championship last year, it's a very exciting time for soccer here.
You bet. Well, lots happening in your world. Thanks so much for taking a few minutes with us, TJ.
Happy to. Thanks for having me.
TJ, again, is with Madison East. He is the athletic director. This is your Prairieland Towing halftime show, and we've got lots more coming up after the break. Welcome back to your Prairieland Towing halftime show. We just caught up before the break with the athletic director, TJ, who had the opportunity to brag a little bit about the boys soccer team. Now I'm joined by 4 of the boys soccer team right here. I've got Ben, Robbie, Josh, and Davey. Thanks for taking a few minutes with us.
Yep, thank you.
So I know you've just come off a recent win. You're high from that. You want to talk a little bit about that? How did that go?
It was good. It was a little shaky at the start, but we ended up doing pretty well. Clutched out the dub, so yeah.
A
Yeah, we have things to work on because it's the beginning of the season, but we will end up being top team.
And Monona Grove was the most recent win, 2-1. Now, coming off a conference win last year, you know, you've got big shoes to fill. I understand this is a little bit younger team. What are you looking forward to this season?
I'm just hoping to build chemistry and stuff like that. We lost like a lot of seniors, so we're building, like we're really starting new. So even if we're not that good this year, we can definitely build up for next year and hopefully do well.
Yeah, lots of seniors coming and going, you know, does make for a young team. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's hard to adjust at first, but after a while you get used to it and you start getting into the groove of things.
I think the word is potential for sure as you come up and grow into this team. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll let you get back to the game. Obviously, it's theme night.
Yes.
What's the theme?
Beach.
The beach theme. Perfect. And it's a great night for it. We'll be right back with more Prairie Land Towing halftime show after the break.
And time now for the second half. 41-0. The Spartans rolled in the first half. That means we're going to have a running clock here in half number 2 along with Eric Rogers. I am Rich Reynolds, and it didn't matter what the Spartans wanted to do. Either through the air or on the ground, they just dominated the first half.
Well, it certainly hasn't been, you know, a pretty game for Madison East in this one. They have had some decent returns, and we see another one from Owen, but it's a game that it never really was in control for Madison East, and you saw some positivity we've talked about right at the end of the first half, stopping that fourth and goal situation. So maybe they get something going offensively, but I guess time will tell.
Yeah, not a first down in the first half for the Pergolders. For the Spartans, they had 10 of them. Jason Saniti, by the way, was 8 for 11, 178 yards and 4 touchdown strikes, as the Pergolders will start off the second half on the ground, as the give is to that is Dean, and Dean with a minimal gain on first down.
Well, we talked about some of the rules coming into this, you know, about running clock in the second half, about the lightning strike being a half-hour delay, and so far that hasn't been the case, so we'll see.
Well, someone has something to cheer about, and that's some cheerleaders who are down on the sidelines with our very own Jessa Jeremiah. Let's head there right now.
All right, we're going to take another break here at the Madison Bowl. We've got Tanya and Neva with Madison East. Thanks so much to Dale's Heating and Air for letting us have this sideline report. You guys have lots of school spirit. I've been watching you as school is just starting, but you are not just starting. You have been practicing quite a bit, haven't you?
Yes, we have. We've actually been working on a lot of skills for competition season, also as well as our game team. We're working on a lot of new cheers. So.
And it's working, it's paying off. I've been enjoying it here as I'm right next to you. Now, another thing that is high on your priority list right now is you're really in fundraising mode. And I understand that fundraising is to get some new uniforms. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
So right now we're kind of just doing a fundraiser to sort of raise money for uniforms and stuff. And we're doing a Bucky Book, which has coupons, and we're selling them for $35 just to whoever wants to help support our team.
Well, I want to make sure that we shout out to folks out there who want to help support. You can actually reach out to one of the students here, or I have a website, Madison East Cheer at Gmail, or rather an email if you want to help support and get one of those Bucky books that goes directly to the Madison East Cheer team. And I know you guys have lots of spirit, so let's show it off as we go back to the game.
Alrighty. Let's go East. Ready? 1, 2. Let's go East. 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go East! Let's go East! Let's go East!
Can't think of a better way to get back to the game. Thanks so much, Dale's Heating and Air, for that sideline report. We'll get back to the guys.
And perfect timing from the cheer team as they are cheering on. The first down of the game as McCoskey hit Boynton for 24 yards and a first down through the air for the Pergolders.
So Boynton listed on the roster as a sophomore, 6'6", 185. But again, Coach Thornton had said that this is a guy that coming into the season definitely has the ability to be a breakout player. You see that fighting through 2 defenders to catch that ball and fight for the first down. Oh, by the way, he was all-conference honorable mention last year, which would have made him a freshman. That is impressive.
Absolutely, as Davion Clay unable to get back to the line of scrimmage, as he has 4 carries for -1 yards so far on the night. Tonight's tough sledding for the Pergolders' leading rusher is going to bring up 3rd and long. Yeah, the pass to Boynton while we were away, and you probably saw it in our split screen, very well looked like it could have been picked off.
Oh, sure.
But Boynton able to wrestle the ball away, and then he got wrestled down hard after a 24-yard pickup.
Hey, you put your body on the line, Rich, and that's what this guy did. And you see him at the bottom of your screen right now, closest to the sideline, but unfortunately that play going to be blown dead.
And a flag on the play as the officials sorting it out. As on the play, it's going to be a false start against the Pergolders, and 3rd and long was just made to 3rd and longer.
So we are going to take a look at that replay, and you'll see it right now pinpoint the ball and get it out of the hands of 2 different defenders and wrestle down to the ground. Number 23, that would have been Monte Meeks, the linebacker who he fought over to get that ball.
Great catch by Boynton, and the Pergolders trying to build on that right now, looking for another first down. 3rd and 12, blitz coming over the middle. McCoskey finds his man wide open, and a big first down on the play as the pass was complete over the middle to number 5. That is Dakari Clay, and Clay with his first catch of the night and a pickup of 16 yards and a first down.
Dakari Clay with only 1 reception on the season prior to that for 19 yards. It was a touchdown, so definitely, and again, the 2nd first down of the game for East coming on this drive, so things are clicking, and even if it doesn't result in points, it's a step forward in this one.
Absolutely, is unfortunately a player down for East as they stop the game momentarily and stop the clock. We're in the second half, so we have a running clock right now. It is 41-0 for the Spartans, and our clock, you can kind of see it in the corner. It is part of the William Thomas Custom Jewelry scoreboard. William Thomas, your inspiration, your custom jeweler.
Official talking with Coach Thornton right now for East about, I'm sure, some sort of substitution or whatever, but in the meantime, the players are ready to get under action, so here we go.
And the refs ready to wind the clock, and there it goes once again. 1st and 10 for the Pergolders, their best drive of the game by far with back-to-back first downs. McCoskey has 5 wide receivers as the Spartans are rushing 4. Pass is complete out to the near sideline, and a loss on the play as the pass goes to Davion Clay, and he will lose about 1.5 yards, maybe 2 yards.
But there's the positivity again, Rich. It's the silver lining in this. If I'm not mistaken, 3 completions in that entire first half for McCoskey. He's got 3 at least on this drive. So he's starting to get a feel for it, starting to get things moving. So whether Rowe is back next week or not, they have someone who's finally starting to get it, starting to pick things up in McCoskey.
2nd and 12 now. McCoskey again without a back. Sets up in the pocket, throws over the middle, picked off. Threw that one too soon and too high, and the Spartans will have their 2nd interception of the night.
Well, Rich, I'm going to take the blame for that one because, again, you start talking about a guy and then stuff like that happens. But it was positivity, but just the 4-2-5 defense has been absolutely key for the Spartan defense. And the linebackers coach, I mean, getting things done. It's just been an all-around great effort for Memorial, taking away any positive energy that the Pergolders have going for them.
Spartans have done everything right all night long, and Coach Harris now is going to call on number 19, Drew Adams, a junior quarterback to replace Jason Sanity, and he is going to hand it off as the handoff is going to go to Kabaris Vassar, his first carry of the night, and for Vassar, a pickup of 2.
Well, it's interesting. It's been an interesting game so far for Memorial to see what they want to do. They've been trying different formations, different packages out of those formations, and different players executing those plays. So we're seeing some of these 2nd and 3rd string players getting playing time with this running clock, and obviously we're getting towards 5 minutes in this 3rd quarter.
Vassar again, the deep back behind Adams. And on second down, they're going to give it to the fullback. And nothing there as the fullback wrapped up quickly by big number 73. That is Chris Curry with the tackle for loss. And 3rd and 8 coming up. Before that happens, let's head it back down. Oh, actually, we're not ready yet. Let's get this 3rd and 8 underway first.
3rd and 10.
As we'll see if Adams will actually take to the air and if Coach Harris will give his junior signal caller a chance to throw the football. I formation once again. Motion with the wide receiver going to the far side. Rolling out as Adams throws it out into the flats. Has a man just shy of a first down as he threw a strike on the play, but again, it is going to be shy of a first down.
And the tackle by Owen.
So instead of the punt, let's head on down to the sideline. Jessa Jeremiah once again with the Drews Heating and Air, or Dale's Heating and Air sideline report, excuse me.
Giving us a break here on the sidelines. Dale's Heating and Air sideline report. We are taking a break not only from the game but from football as a whole. We've got the head coach of the girls tennis team for Madison Memorial. This is Joseph King. Thanks for taking a minute with us.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So I'm glad to talk a little bit about tennis. Now, the school year is just starting, but you are not just starting. You've been practicing for a few weeks. How's it going so far?
It's going really well. We started practice August 8th. We've had a couple invites. We took first place at the Dane County invite and also first place at Owasso invite this past weekend, and got a great squad of girls. I'm very happy with it.
Can't complain. Let's talk a little bit about the team and really what you're looking at. Is it an older team, a younger team? How is that?
We have some good senior leadership. We have 4 senior girls on our squad, a couple juniors, a couple sophomores, and a freshman that's really helping us out. It's definitely one of the deeper squads we've had in the past couple years.
Makes for a good year and some good potential as well. And I know you've got an event that you're looking forward to coming up. Share with us what that is.
Definitely. It's called the Badger Big 8 Challenge, and it's coming up in a couple weeks. There's 4 Big 8 schools, and we play against 4 of the Badger schools, and it's a fun time to see how the conferences stack up against each other.
Well, thanks again. This is Joseph King, head coach with girls tennis, for taking a minute with us.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more of the game thanks to Dale's Heating and Air for this sideline report.
And thank you, Jessa, as a flag was waved off while we were gone. 1st and 10 for the Pergolders, now facing a lot of the Spartans backups out on the field right now. And with a 41-0 Spartan lead, they feel pretty comfortable getting some guys some playing time as a pass is complete by McCoskey. And that one goes for one of the best gains on first down all night long for Madison East.
Well, even though the ball did get thrown that way, you saw some adjustments by the Spartan defense getting shifted off to the right side. The outside linebacker was looking like, all right, I'm going to shift to my right, away from the ball the way the quarterback ended up throwing that. So I'm not sure if that ended up being a design throw to the right or if that's just a McCoskey adjustment off that. But nice job avoiding that, and ends up at a good game.
Ian McCoskey, 7 of 16 on the night, 54 yards and 2 interceptions. 2nd down and 5. McCoskey rolling out, throwing it out long, and that one nearly picked off as he was looking in the direction of Boynton. Good coverage that time by Monte Meeks. We'll set up a 3rd down, and we'll call it 4.
Yeah, Meeks, I don't know, maybe stood over the defender after that ball went incomplete a little bit long. In the NBA, they call that taunting.
They do call that taunting in the NBA. I'm not sure that I like that too much. So 41-0 our score. Why don't we take a look at league trivia, the trivia question and answer. So our question earlier in the night was about Coach Thornton.
Oddly enough, yes, he did go to Madison East. The question was, where did he play out of? And it was Madison East, a graduate of Madison East in 2004, led them to an 8-1 record and a Big 8 title. And so he has a couple of awards as a quarterback: AP All-State Honorable Mention, WFCA All-State Honorable Mention, First Team All-Big 8, wow. Big 8 Offensive Back Offensive Player of the Year. So a lot of accolades
there for Coach Thornton as a player at East.
And boy, it would be really special for Coach Thornton to be able to turn this program around, one that he played at, one that he had a lot of success at, not only personally but for the team as well. And you kind of want to root for him because he seems like such a positive cat.
Well, sure, and it's a guy who came back to his roots, and you love those guys who go back to the team they played for, and you see a lot of times in the professional ranks where they will go back to the team as a broadcaster maybe. So for Jeremy Thornton to go back to East, maybe a no-brainer for him, but this is game number 12, and so far he hasn't come away with a win, but things going in the right direction.
And in the third quarter, 41-0 Spartans lead. Let's send it back down to Jessa Jeremiah, as I think she's got some people dressed up in beach garb right now. Jessa, who you got down there?
All right, taking a break here for the Dales Heating and Air Sideline Report. You may notice I've got some Pergolders here. I've got Liam, Javier, Donovan, Cece, and Leah. Thank you for taking a minute. Now, you're dressed up tonight. What's the theme?
It's beach, because I'm pretty sure this is the only Friday that's not raining in Madison.
That is the truth. It's a beautiful night, so a great night for a beach theme. Why do you choose to come out and support your school?
You definitely got to come out and support East. I know we're down right now. We're a fourth quarter team, though. Going to bring it on back. You got to show them the East Side pride.
Now, you might be down right now, but you're definitely claiming #1 in school spirit. Who has more school spirit? Is it Madison East or Madison Memorial?
East Side. East Side. You ready? Yeah. East Side on 3. 1, 2, 3. East Side!
That's some good school spirit. That's our Dales Heating and Air Sideline Report. We're getting back to the game.
And we're back for quarter number 4. Rich Reynolds along with Eric Rogers, as Ian McCoskey on 4th down needed 4, got 6 as he ran for it, and it is the third first down of the second half for the Pergolders.
See, there you go, and you just do it right there, and you do it like that. 5 receptions, 112 yards this season as a receiver for McCoskey. Obviously playing quarterback tonight. You see some of that speed and elusiveness on a play like that. Get you the first down, move the chains, and there you go. That's number 3 of the game, I believe.
Madison East looking for some points if they can get some. They haven't had too many, only 13 points through the first 2 games of the season. So any points that they can muster here would definitely feel good for the Pergolders. McCoskey looking to throw once again. Pressure's on. He gets away for the moment. Now rolling left, throwing late, and incomplete as his receiver fell down on the deep ball. And there is some laundry out on the field. We'll see what the flag is.
Yeah, it's one of those nice acting jobs. I mean, he did get held a little bit on the far sideline there, but you throw those arms up in the air, usually an indication to the official, hey guy, I am being held pretty bad right here, and it does draw the penalty flag.
It worked this time. A 10-yard penalty marched off against the Pergolders. For the Pergolders, 8 penalties, 55 yards. That's some of that hidden yardage that's kind of working against Madison East tonight. That, along with a couple of turnovers, hasn't really worked out well for them this evening. By the way, it is just our first game of the season. We're going to be giving you 9 games this year, including 2 playoff games for the first time, which is very cool. It is all brought to us by A1 Furniture and Mattress. They are your premier mattress and furniture store. So our thanks once again to Paul Canarola and everyone over at A1 Furniture and Mattress.
Yeah, they have been a consistent supporter of high school athletics for as long as we've been doing this, Rich, and we certainly appreciate that.
And around this time, kind of that jet sweep action, if you will, is Dakari Clay on the carry, and he's able to fall forward. Give him 2 maybe on the carry right there for Clay. 2 carries, 3 yards in limited action for Dakari Clay tonight.
Listed on the roster, just 5'8", 175, but slipping past some tackles and gaining a couple yards.
Pergolders lining up for a 2nd down and 18. We're getting lined up once again for another Dales Heating and Air Sideline Report. Once again, back to Jessica.
Game for a Dales Heating and Air Sideline Report. We just heard from some Pergolders. I've got some Spartans joining us. Abby, Charlie, Parker, Hannah, Ann, and Cameron are all here. Thanks for taking a second from the game.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so you've got a theme going on. What's the theme, guys?
Jerseys.
I love the theme nights. It's awesome. A beautiful night for some jerseys. Why do you guys choose to come out to the games on Friday night?
Well, right now we're 2-0, so we got to support our Spartans and keep as much enthusiasm coming up and keep winning, I guess.
You got lots of enthusiasm, well-deserved. The Pergolders told me that they have more school spirit. What's your thought on that?
I'm just going to have to say that one's false. We obviously have more school spirit, as you can see.
So show us your school spirit.
All right.
1, we are the Spartans. 2, a little bit louder. 3, I still can hear you. 4, more. 1.
That's hard to compete with. Great job, guys. Thanks to Dale's Heating and Air for the Sideline report. We'll get back to the game.
We got spirit, yes we do. We got spirit. How about you?
Not as much, Rich.
Yeah,
not as much.
It's
job.
nice to see, the kids having some spirit tonight. Beautiful night for football, though there are definitely storms in the area. They have not hit Lucier Stadium as of yet. They appear to be a little bit to the southeast of us right now as the Spartans all over the Pergolders tonight. 41-0 is our score in third, and a long chunk of yardage, about 1/5 of the field for the Pergolders. McCoskey looking to throw once again and throws that one out of bounds, reminiscent of Tim Tebow back in the day.
Yeah, a little bit of a wobbler, but yeah, that's tough, man. Sometimes you just look at that one after it goes out of your hands and go, whoops, there was no reason for that.
It happens, and especially on a night like tonight, not a lot of things have gone wrong. One thing for sure, with all the rain that we've had in the area, I know it's not raining now, but the field's damp. Everything's kind of moist, and it's hard to get a good grip on that football. Bad punt here, one straight up in the air and lands around midfield and will die right there at the 49-yard line. That's where the Spartans take over. 8 minutes and running. We'll be back for the conclusion of this one. You're watching the Madison Bowl, and you're watching 57 Sports.
Okay, they're ready for us, Jeremy. You're taking a break here. The Dale's Heating and Air Sideline Report. Thanks so much to the guys for calling the game tonight. I want to make sure we catch up with you because there's lots to talk about. The athletic director for Memorial, and obviously football's off to a good start. Let's touch on that.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get to 3-0 here, which is always a great way to start, and especially with some of the unknowns coming in with a new coaching staff and some young players. It's great to see the start of their journey go so well.
You bet, and a good game this evening. Now, lots of other sports are kicking off as well here for fall. Any highlights you want to share?
Yeah, we had a new soccer coach as well. He started off 4-0 and got over 650 kids up for sports, tons of freshmen, kind of welcome into the Spartan family, and everybody's got some contests under their belt heading into the school year starting next week.
And a great evening to have a football game. As we are standing out here in the wind, we were discussing we didn't get any rain. We had an unexpected field change, but it's been a nice evening. So I'm glad to hear your fall sports are going well, and obviously football as well. Thanks, Jeremy.
Great. Thanks for covering high school sports, and hopefully we stay dry here.
We got a little bit of time left, but I think it's going to happen. Thanks to Dale's Heating and Air for taking a break with us here on the sidelines. Back to football.
And thank you so much, Jessa. As a first down here for the Spartans, it's another courtesy Ford. First down, courtesy Ford in Sauk Prairie, your new truck destination at courtesy Ford. It's courtesy that counts. Yeah, I haven't seen Jeremy in a while. He comes into the sports news quite often there, and a lot of good sports programs at Madison Memorial, and now football once again joining the ranks of the teams that are doing well.
So, Rich, we've seen Jason Sinetti under center. Obviously, we're seeing a new quarterback right now. So we're looking at, I believe it's number 19, Drew Adams. So Drew Adams listed as a 5'11", 155-pound junior. So doesn't have any stats in the books yet, so he's getting a start. But the quarterbacks, so what are the stats for Sinetti tonight that you have on
Sinetti tonight, I tell you what, unofficially, but it's pretty close. 8 for 11, 178 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. His last 3 passes, all touchdowns.
Yeah, what a way to go. And you know what? And I'm going to do this right now, Rich, because I have ties to the Madison Mustangs semi-pro football team. And so do the Memorial Spartans. They've got 2 coaches on the quarterbacks, former quarterbacks for the Madison Mustangs, Dave Petroviak and Dave Hebgen, coaching Sinetti. in this game. So a
Yeah,
lot of the credit goes to that staff and the players as well, obviously. But yeah, you're giving me the eye roll.
No. As long as we're doing shout-outs, I want to say hi to Nate Hutchins on the coaching staff over there at Memorial. So a big shout-out to Nate from Stoughton. And, I'd like to give a shout-out to the Sprout family, as Greg and Andrea with Will Sprout out on the field tonight. He's made a difference this evening as a linebacker for the Spartans. So there we go. Those are my shout-outs then as well. We got them all in as a 3rd down and 9 and a timeout had been called. And at this point, maybe that's just to talk things over, but you want to try to keep this clock running, I think, if you're both of these coaches.
I was going to say, should the timeout stop a running clock?
I don't know.
Just keep it going.
Not at this point, maybe. 3rd down and 9 as Adams under center here. We'll see what he does out of I formation. Play action now. Dropping back. Has pressure. Dumps it off in the flat. But that is going to be well shy of the necessary yardage for a 1st down and bring up a 4th and long.
Some of these coaches don't like the running clock because it's a chance for some of their guys who don't see a lot of reps to get live game action. And how valuable that stuff is, especially in a time like this when you have the win secured, and to be able to go out there and keep your playbook going and expand it a little bit, try some new things. But obviously you go home and you'll take that W, but if you have something to gripe about, a running clock is a good one.
Adams on 4th down, throws too tall, and that'll turn the ball over with just about 4 minutes or so left in the football game. All right, time for one more. Oh, thought we had it ready. I guess not. We'll get them ready down on the sidelines as Jessa is going to be standing by soon. Want to thank Chick-fil-A, by the way, as well, for feeding us, the entire crew this evening. Great job by Chick-fil-A, as always. So thank you for filling up our bellies before the game tonight. They always do a wonderful job at Chick-fil-A. Clock running inside of 4 minutes. Next week, Eric, we are where again?
We will be at Mansfield, where Verona's taking on Madison West, 2 teams that are looking to climb a little bit further in the Big 8 standings.
Yeah, Verona undefeated. We'll see how they end up doing tonight, as right now we're going to send it back down to Jessa.
So I've been talking to the Pergolders and the Spartans all night, trying to figure out who has more school spirit, and I think now we're finally going to get an answer. It's back to back, so I'll let the Spartans take a turn.
All right, you guys ready? Yeah.
I
believe.
I believe.
I believe that.
I believe that.
I believe that we.
I believe that we.
I believe that we have.
I believe that we have.
I believe that we have one.
I believe that we have one.
All right, Pergolders, it's your turn. Give us your loudest chant.
Ready? Eastside like a man on 3. 1, 2, 3. Eastside.
Okay, who has more school spirit? The Pergolders, or is it Memorial? Madison East or Madison Memorial? Go, guys. Thanks, Sales Heating and Air, for letting us take a break. We'll be right back.
There are some TVs that have smart volume. They can kind of tone some of that down. Right there, that
Our
was
headsets
just
do not.
Yeah, that was just a lot of screaming into microphones, which blew my headset straight out.
They did their job.
Yeah, I
they
guess
did
so.
their job, Rich.
I'm deaf now, but all right. Clock temporarily stopped on 1st and 10 for McCoskey and company, as he's going to roll right, and it looks like McCoskey's going to run. No, he stops the throw, and unfortunately the pass goes out of bounds. A great little fake out there, as I think everybody thought that McCoskey was going to run. Instead, he stopped to throw the football, and he threw it out of bounds.
All right, Rich, I was waiting for it. That's the RPO. It's that run-pass option, and I almost thought that was maybe not supposed to be a pass play because it just was so broken down, and even from the beginning, the running play was almost, it didn't really look like a fake handoff, but sometimes the broken plays can turn up big, and that one almost did, just tiptoeing the sidelines, not quite able to keep those feet down.
And not surprisingly, a flag for an ineligible receiver downfield.
What?
I tell you what, it was a running play.
Oh,
no
that makes
wonder why
sense.
he faked everyone out. I don't think it was a run pass option. I think it was you have to run the football. That was the option.
Well, he took the option
Yeah,
of
he took
passing it.
So the lineman knew it was a running play. McCuskey didn't, as he thought it was an RPO. So 1st and 15 now after the penalty, and they give up the middle to Davion Clay, and he's going to get that penalty yardage back as he goes into positive yards on the night, 5 carries and 4 yards for Clay.
Well, you know why we did this, Rich? And we've talked about how this is game 1 for us, even though in week 3 of the high school football season. It's NFL season coming up. We already got college football underway this weekend, so it's obviously a time to really get into the football. The fall is here. I mean, we're there already. So now your entire week can be filled with football if you're not into the baseball thing. And I mean, obviously there's a couple of good baseball teams in this area to watch.
They're like 2 months away from winter, man. It's scary, actually, as Clay gets the pitch, and what a great run. Best run of the night for Davion Clay, breaking tackles and picking up 12 yards and a first down.
Well, running out of things to say about this. Sometimes you think that was juke, broken tackle. That's another broken tackle. Juke those 2 guys out. That's just an effort play. There's nothing really to be said there for the blocking. It just was a broken play. Nice job to pick up the yardage and keep the drive alive.
And excellent replay work there by our crew here at 57 Sports. It's bringing you the sights and sounds here from Lucier Stadium in beautiful HD, which you gotta love. The only high school broadcast in HD is found right here on 57 Sports.
So we'll obviously want to stick around for the trophy presentation presented by A1 Furniture and Mattress.
That's coming up right after the game as McCoskey complete out to the sideline. Then another first down as East now starting to string something together as Chris Kilgore, a sophomore, gets the reception for a pickup of, well, we'll give him about 14 yards.
Madison East will take a timeout after getting that first down, and I don't know if that's a slow the momentum type of thing, but 45 seconds left, and maybe you're thinking, let's try to score something before the game's over.
That's what I think Coach Thornton's thinking right here. Hey, let's get some points, something positive to go into next week if you are Madison East. And looking ahead on some of these schedules here, and I know I just
should
threw
get that one. It's
around a little bit.
Beloit
East
Memorial team.
next week is at Beloit Memorial. So yeah, after that, they're at Janesville Parker, so they're at the bottom of the Big 8 as far as the standings go, and a chance, if you're Madison East, to say, you know what, we got a chance 2 weeks in a row and maybe looking at our first win.
Well, I mean, you know, sometimes you look at, you know, how competitive this Big 8 is, and you have Parker and you have Beloit Memorial, you have Madison East that I guess historically in the last couple of years have been in the bottom half of the standings, but you know, you front load this schedule with some of these teams that you've been playing so far. But yeah, like you said, Rich, a nice little reprieve and chance to regroup and say, hey, we figured some things out against tough competition. Let's get a win.
Memorial, by the way, next week we talked about it. They're at Middleton. That's a huge game within the Big 8 Conference here early on as McCoskey gets away from pressure. Running ball now as he tucks it down. Still on his feet. First down yardage and more as he's breaking tackles inside the 20 and down to the 17-yard line. A gain of 19 yards.
You know what that play reminded me of is one Russell Wilson. I'm not going to say they're on the same level competitively yet, but that was one of those. I'm running towards the line of scrimmage. I'm going to do one last pump fake to get the defender to jump a little bit before I run past the sticks, and that ends up getting that first down, man. It was just impressive.
Absolutely. Memorial, by the way, again, at Middleton next week, then they're home to Madison West, then at Verona. So those next 3 games really might be the determining factor in all the Big 8 Conference.
And as you mentioned, we will be covering the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. So we might be able to see Madison Memorial again, and if we do, that tells you a lot about how they came through in those games.
Yeah, Madison Memorial will finish out the season at home to Beloit Memorial, at home to Janesville Parker, then on the road to Janesville Craig. By the way, Craig's surprising. They're 2-0 to start the season.
Well, they've got some great playmakers on that roster, and you see a team that's maybe not historically been very good in the last 5 years, but every now and then you turn things around, you get the right
things, the right pieces in order, and the players believe the coaches, and you buy in.
McCoskey dropping back on first down pressure, and he is going to go down. An auto-color quarterback sack, as that is a bit of a backbreaker. The clock continuing to run. East does have one more timeout. Coach Thornton right now not electing to use it. This is going to be the final play of the game, barring a penalty. McCoskey calling out the signals, dropping back, pressure once again, heaves it towards the end zone. The ball swatted away, and that will do it and put a wraps on the Madison Bowl. The shutout complete for the Spartans. They win it 41-0 here tonight. Hey, don't go anywhere. We got the trophy presentation coming up in just a little bit, and we also have Jessa Jeremiah, who's standing by on the sidelines right now.
Well, it's official. The Spartans have defeated the Pergolders here at the A1 Furniture Madison Bowl. We have a lot coming up for you in the post-game show. We're going to hear from the coaches. We've got Rich and Eric coming down to talk, and we've got an excited group of football players that are going to receive this big trophy. Stick around for the A1 Furniture post-game show coming up after the break.
Time now to check in on the Rosen Nissan plays of the game. Lots of them for the Spartans, including well, that's not the interception. That's the Javon Boynton catch. So a nice positive play for the Pergolders there as McCoskey was able to connect. And this also in the second half, as well as Dakari Clay was able to make a catch and some positive yardage. And I guess we're seeing all second half plays here for the Pergolders, who ended up falling in this one by the final of 41-0. And one of the nicer runs of the night right there is Davion Clay was able to get a first down, but really not telling the story of what was happening in this football game, which was it was all Spartans early and often. Jason Sinetti with 4 touchdown tosses, including the last 3 tosses of the night for him, all one for touchdowns. The shortest one was 29 yards. You take a look at his first toss of the game. There goes to Ellingson.
Yeah, you're looking at some of the earlier plays, because that's really where all of the good stuff happened for the Spartans.
Dryden Schaefer there, a 50-yard touchdown grab in stride on the perfect toss by Sinetti, and he wasn't done as he had a couple more touchdown tosses in him, as they're actually a touchdown run straight up the middle by Dryden Schaefer, who had a good night himself. But tell you what, the Spartans were able to show us some of everything tonight. They were able to throw the ball. They were able to run the ball. There's a 2-point conversion to Cerniglia. Everything they wanted to do, they were able to accomplish.
Well, and Coach Harris was a little bit coy about that when we talked in the postgame about wanting to do a little bit of new things and experiment. But he said, hey, we stayed true to our game plan, and, hey, that results in a 41-0 win. You'll take that.
Every time, as the Spartans are 3-0. We'll do the trophy presentation next. Those, by the way, the Rosen Nissan plays of the game. We're back for more here on 57 Sports.
Welcome back. This is the A1 Furniture postgame award ceremony. I think it's safe to say that the Spartans have defeated the Pergolders. What do you think, guys? You excited? I'm going to let Rich and Eric hop in here, but without further ado, Coach, I'm going to present the A1 Furniture High School Football Bowl Series trophy to you on behalf of A1 Furniture and 57. Congratulations. Guys, I'll let you chime in.
And thank you, Jessa and Coach. Tell you what, you guys came out throwing the ball effectively in the first quarter. Second quarter was all running the ball. It seemed like no matter what you wanted to do tonight, you guys were able to accomplish it. You look sharp.
We're very excited. This was a full team effort. We were very happy to have all of our JVs participate in the game as well. And it was, like we said, it was a full team effort. Everyone was on board.
Coach, at what point, I mean, obviously you guys came away with a big win as far as score is concerned. At what point did you look at it and say, maybe now I'll try some new things, try to experiment with some stuff? At what point did that kind of thought cross your mind?
We tried to stay as true as possible to our game plan. We wanted to take one play at a time, make sure that we handled 6 seconds at a pop, and that's all we wanted to focus on.
Coach, you got a big game coming up next week at Middleton. That's always a good rivalry for you guys. Now, going into that game, you got a chance to stay on top of the Big 8 conference. What are you expecting when you see the Cardinals next week?
Well, Middleton is very disciplined. They understand how to use their dynamics in the field very well. They're very sound with their special teams. We're going to go back and look at the stats, look at our game field. We're going to enjoy this win for tonight, and then we're going to work on our work starting tomorrow.
And Coach, I'll end with this question. I always like to ask, what do you learn from a big win like that?
I learned the character of our team, how much I love them, and how much I appreciate all of them.
Great stuff from Coach Harris, who's undefeated as a coach here at Memorial. 3-0, the Spartans go to, and a big win tonight for Madison Memorial. My thanks to Eric Rogers, Justin Jeremiah. We'll see you next time as you've been watching the Madison Bowl presented by A1 Furniture and Mattress right here on 57 Sports.